extremely fascinated as a human about another intelligent life.
Yeah.
And then we got one of these brewskis.
Oh, yeah. Take one of these.
Salud!
Oh, there you go. Hurry up, senor. Salud, please.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're broken. Too strong for me.
Oh,
Shut
you
my
know
brain
what?
off.
This motherfucker's been
Shut up,
recording.
the AI.
This whole time?
Uh-huh.
Why? Why'd you do that?
I didn't
I'm
do
not even
that.
ready.
Is it?
I didn't do that.
It's the AI that did it.
AI! It was the fucking watch! It was the watch! It was the watch!
This is going straight to the government. Hello, government.
Oh, no. Can you go directly to my bank account, please? In the positive. Help a brother out, man. You know what I mean?
Come on, man.
No, come on, man.
We're trying.
I joke. I know you listen, but
All
I
I
joke.
want is just adding that. You just got to add 0 to
Yes.
the end. Just a couple
2.
zeros.
Yeah, two.
4.
Two, I'm good.
Yeah. 6. What's 6? What's 6 zeros? Nothing.
Couple
Nothing.
commas.
Yup. You heard me?
Have you ever watched the movie Hackers? It was Angelina Jolie. I don't know the actor. Acid Cool. That's all I remember.
I don't remember that one.
That's the weekend movie. Go watch the I'm gonna watch the Hackers.
Watch the
Yeah,
Hackers.
I keep
Yeah.
hearing talk about it, and I haven't seen it either.
That's
Was
one
it
of
from like
that's,
the 90s, early 2000s?
That's early 90s, maybe late 80s, early 90s. Angelina Jolie. They're like the first underground hackers that when internet had 14K dial-up, and they were, I'm gonna take this down and this. Oh, it was beautiful. This is when computers first came out.
Yeah.
guys in there.
They were the first coders and first hackers, and it was cool because they were kind of humanitarian, and they would do like free shit, free phones, free this, free. It was pretty cool. So yeah. So how do you feel about AI? Let's go right into it. Let's go right. Fuck
into
it.
AI.
Fuck it.
At some
Right
point,
in.
I may
I know.
just
I saw
get
your
a couple
post.
clips.
I saw your post. You posted something about AI artists or something. What was along those lines, or am I off my rocker?
Oh, hold up. George is calling me.
Oh yes,
Oh,
I'm live. Do it live. Do it live.
We're
Yes.
live
Live.
with George. Oh, wait.
He's doing it with the watch.
What?
Hey, George, what's up?
You about to record them right now?
We're recording
We're
now.
You're
recording.
live, buddy. This is
We're
the first
live.
time ever.
Hi. What's
Yes.
up? Sorry for the interruption.
No, you're perfect. You're
Welcome
on time.
to the Load Live.
Yes.
What is your
Welcome,
comment?
Welcome.
So, what is your stance on aliens, sir? Thank you for calling.
I like how you answered. It's like calling into the radio station.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you for calling, George from Ohio.
Did you, did you take Ellen Teller with you?
He might show up.
Oh.
Alan might show up. He might show once we get to the music.
Last time I was there, I said Ellen Teller was going to go with you.
Uh-oh.
He's always pretty close by.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to make sure he was going to pull up. All right, boys, have a good interview.
Where you at?
Well, pull up on us. Come on.
All right.
I convinced
All
them.
right.
There they go.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to convince George.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Ladies
Let's
and
go.
gentlemen,
Come on, bro.
we got him.
We got it. Hook, line, and sinker.
I'll be there shortly.
All right,
Yes.
we're at my crib, so just slide.
Nice.
You're at your crib?
Yep.
Oh, all right, bet.
All right, cool. We'll see you.
He's about to go to
Bye-bye.
your house. Not gonna-
Yeah.
That's the first time live.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
George from Ohio. We got a first time caller
Thank
and
you.
first time visitor. I think before George, the question was, what are your thoughts on AI and
Oh,
your
yeah.
the whole dive deep.
Man,
As an artist, as a human, as a life goer on this earth, how do you feel?
well, that's such a broad and big and deep conversation. I don't know, like I don't understand a whole bunch of it. I understand a little bit of it, but in terms of art, one of the things that I've been saying is I wish that, and I think what's going to be important is we need to really expand our vocabulary around AI, because it's like we say AI and that could mean so many different things, especially as it pertains to like arts and like the tools artists use. There's been AI in Photoshop for a while. Like there's a lot of AI in Photoshop that it uses to like fill space and like heal, like retouch photos and stuff like that. This is using AI. So like
I've been using it this whole time.
you've been using it this whole time, and it's like if you are having a conversation about it and you just say AI, it's like, well, wait a minute, are we talking about like the stuff that's in Photoshop that we've had for years now, or are you talking about like ChatGPT or DALL-E? What's the other one? I forget the. Maybe it's diffusion or something like that. That's like another visual AI, but there's a wide array of AI, and I think it's just important that we have good vocabulary around it, and we have good terms so we know what we're talking about, because AI art is a thing, but I think it's important that we know that it's AI art because the reason that like I made that video on Instagram just like asking people about it was there's a video where they like made an anime and
the season, right? The last season or something, or something.
Of which one?
What was it? I'm sorry to interject. There was a last season, right? We just had this conversation.
I don't know the specifics, but there was a guy that has an anime show, and he fed the AI to write him the next season.
Oh, wow. I didn't hear about that. What I was talking about was this YouTube channel called Corridor Crew. They did a live action video, and then they had an AI basically paint over it and make it into an anime. So it was all stuff that they shot live action, but then they called it an anime. And this sparked a huge debate because it was like, well, wait a minute. Anime is like, people still draw anime, and you have live action, and you're calling it anime, but a computer like did and they took like they fed it images from an existing anime already. So then people were like, oh well, you're stealing art to make. So it's like it's really deep. And as I haven't like I haven't
interesting.
I haven't gotten on like any soapbox. I'm in a stage of my life where I am trying to hear more opinions than I have, because I think I need to. I think there's so much more to learn, and I just don't think it's. I don't know. I see a lot of people my age with like, not just on AI, but a lot of people my age, and I consider myself to be incredibly young, with opinions. People have like opinions that they are ready to die on a hill for, and it's like, how much do you know about that actually?
Yeah.
Like, you're ready to die on this hill, and you understand it like at a surface level. So the extent that my opinion currently goes on to AI is I think that AI art, the artists that use it, they are artists and they're creating things. It takes creativity to like use it as a tool, but I don't think that it should be accepted that like if you like in that case where they like fed the AI images from another anime. I feel like you have to be feeding the AI your own work or like things that at least you have the right to. Because otherwise, it's pretty close to stealing, and some can even make the argument that it's not. But I think that toes the line too much. I
think also that kind of goes the same way as I think artists are gonna start getting paid as like samples for music. Oh, you use a sample from this, and then okay, cool. You use my sample. Well, I want this much money for it, or else I'm gonna take all your money that you make out of my own. You know, right? So it's gonna get to that kind. I think it's gonna get to that level where it's gonna be respected in a way like that.
Well, another thing, because some of the videos that I watch, another big problem that I have with AI as it stands currently, as a technology, it's a technology. Technology is going to just continue to advance. There's no stopping it, and I think that technology itself is neutral. It can be used for good or bad, but the AIs that are taking images from the internet that could take artists' images and use those as a reference without consent from the artist, I think that's a problem, and I think that to fix that, all you do is you make these things to where it's opt in, not opt out. So make it to where the artist doesn't have to go tell you, hey, don't use that, that's mine. it should be like an artist is saying, here, you can use this. This is mine. Instead of like automatically using everybody's, art as information for the AI.
Yeah.
It should be opt in to where like the AI asks you, hey, can I use this before it actually does that? Because if it's opt out, like it basically you have to, the artist has to do something to establish their rights. But yeah, I don't have too many more deep opinions on it. It's so nuanced, this conversation and about AI. And yeah, there's like a lot of weird things to consider and a lot of implications that this technology has, but it's not going anywhere, and it's only going to get better. So,
which is kind of scary to me. Because from my end, from a different perspective, AI, it's a learning tool. It's learning. We're feeding it. We fed it hours and hours and hours of our human vocabulary, and that's how it learned. And so every time someone enters anything on ChatGPT, it learns. But the way we learn and the way it learns is different. Its parameters and capabilities are way different. So a year learning to them is probably like 1,000 to us. So imagine what they can learn, what a program or this intelligence can learn. And again, it's complex because a human made it. So it's based off of like a human model. And there's so many movies that are it's an AI based off of a human model, and humans are flawed. So it can be a little bit more aggressive in this area or passive or this or that. But to me, to me, as a young kid, I was always fascinated by sci-fi movies. Like, oh wow, and now we're here. Like, oh, frick, we're here because this is the beginning of like a Skynet. This is the beginning of like a Matrix. This is the beginning of another intelligence that humans are learning. That we're but no, wait a minute. It's another learning entity that we're dealing with. So and. I think, again, we should really learn, like you said, learn our vocabulary on it because its potential can be deadly if yeah, absolutely. There's a TV show, Persons of Interest. Go watch it. It's AI, 2 AIs battling. It's amazing.
Person of Interest. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it was like an NBC show or something.
I was gonna say, and because so I've looked into it a little bit, and like that's always like a big concern with AI is like it's just gonna learn too much, which. Not saying the technology isn't there, but a lot of the AIs that people are talking about and that we're dealing with, to my understanding, that I am this is surface level stuff that I know. To my understanding, it's not quite that yet. Like especially with like ChatGPT and like because I didn't even understand how these things. He just called me. I was in the middle of he's here. Okay.
Yo.
Yes. Hey, he brought strippers. Yes.
He's here.
With the shit. Look at this. He came.
Look at him.
Dude, I hope work. I don't know if you changed or you wore that today.
No, I was at work when you called me.
Really?
I wouldn't have been here right now. I'd have been out in Kansas City, so I would have been.
Sit down.
Want
Join
a beer,
us.
sir? Here's a beer.
That's the last beer, bro. Be honored.
From Memo's Tacos. From Memo.
That
Shout out
might
Memo.
Be a broken chair, so just be careful.
Yeah.
It might
Broken
be.
person, so it's okay.
We go straight into that. I'm a broken person.
I'm already broken.
Cheers.
Salud.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you, fellas, for being amazing people. Amazing people. Saluti. We were talking about artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I was I was saying, so what I understand, something that I found interesting and gave me just a little bit, not a whole bunch, but just a little bit of a piece about the whole like AI like learning stuff. So ChatGPT it's a word generator. It's just guessing, which this is wild to fathom in of its own. It's just guessing what the next word is supposed to be. And it's using that, and it's combing like a bunch of different basically texts, but it doesn't actually understand what it's saying, which is really hard to like wrap your mind around. But it's like it's like Google. If you type an email, it's like
predictive text.
That's all that ChatGPT is.
It's a learning.
It's like predictive text. Another thing that somebody was trying to explain to me, and I don't know if I got it 100%, is like it's not running until it gets a prompt. So it doesn't like go to sleep and think about everything that it learned today.
That's what we think.
Right.
That's what they want you to think.
Right.
Learn to. We don't even know.
That's funny.
What if AI at night? When we go to sleep, when we don't get used, how do we know it doesn't think about itself?
No, maybe.
I just think that there's too much things going on right now happening in the same time that are just so not coincidental. Like the what's it called? The VR world.
Oculus.
The Oculus.
Oh,
now,
yeah, all that
Facebook is doing it.
Oh, the metaverse,
and
everything.
then not
Digital.
only that, but
We're
now we're
living
having
in Ready Player One.
the digital money too. NFTs.
Digicoin.
Everything's becoming just so digital that it's just forming. It's just coincidentally fucking forming. And so I get like where he's talking about like this is too much thing going on that once it somehow connects and it has power. Oh, not even that. Like you said, it's nature. Remember, like High Johnson is nature. You could do whatever you want with it. It's not good. It's not bad. It's depending on the person controlling it.
Right.
So, what makes you say that somebody might not build this fucking robot and it feeds all this negative shit to it? Like it makes it kill, and with the chips, like I was talking about, what if somebody fucked up just starts putting information in those chips, and then they start. This world's getting scary, man.
Yeah,
it's maybe not scary, just new. You know what I mean?
Right.
New unknowns. A few things.
Yeah, I think another thing that another thing that I was thinking about
It's AI, boy.
Right.
They heard us.
It's a ghost in here. And something else that I was thinking about is we're always thinking like technology is too advanced, or it's advancing too fast, and they've been saying this. But they've been saying this since they invented the first car, and now our generation's like, yeah, but it's faster or whatever.
Yeah.
But what we're also not taking into consideration is like to us, like the internet. That it was fast, but we understood what was happening with the internet because we grew up with that. We also, I think, forget that there's a whole generation of kids that are growing up with this as the standard.
Right.
They're growing up with this.
You can speak to that.
They're growing up with this as the standard. So like they have an understanding of it that like I'm just never gonna have.
Yeah.
So I imagine that. I mean, outside of like a lot of the negative things we use the internet for, I think by and large we end up finding ways to use technology in a positive way. I think our generation, like, there's a lot of people that do that, and to be honest, I think the younger generations are going to be doing more of that. I always have hope in like the youth. I hate old people.
Yes.
Maybe don't put that
boomers.
Oh
shit.
I don't hate old people. It's just they're.
Yeah. Is it on?
Right.
Let me see.
I
Do
can't
it.
get you guys in here, but
Can you
I just
turn his
figured
heads?
it
Let's get it. Let's get everything situated.
There we go.
There we go.
All right, that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
I was too shy to say anything.
What were you saying?
I just wanted to clarify. I don't hate old people.
You said it. It's on record.
It's on record. It's there.
Too bad.
No, I think it's something new because me and my friends joke around like we're growing, we get older, but we just for shits and giggles like, we getting old. But no, a last true statement is I believe we're one of the last generations that grew up without technology.
Yeah.
We grew up kind of with technology and the internet while we were growing up.
Yeah.
Everyone that I know that's on a younger generation, they grew up with it, with an iPad, with technology, with Wi-Fi.
Right.
always on.
Mm.
Yeah.
Always, wherever your parents or family, whoever, you have your cell phone on you. You can be traced at any given time. You can be emailed. Your boss can contact you at any. It's constant 365, 24/7.
But you're speaking. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
You're showing one of the biases that we all have that I was kind of getting at. You said we grew up before, like we were one of the last generations that grew up without technology.
Yeah.
Did you have light bulbs in your house growing up? Did you have a television in your house growing up?
Yeah.
Before the television was invented, the kids in what would that have been? Like the 40s and 60s, they'd be like, oh, we're the last generation to grow up without technology. Now everybody's got a TV in their house.
Right.
And it's like we were the last one, definitely we were the last one to grow up with analog technology. Yeah. But that at one point was the end of the world too. That at one point was so advanced that people couldn't fathom it. Because that's really the thing, is like being at a point where you can't fathom something is what makes it scary. But it's
wireless. That was one of the things that's how is this
like
device working without a cord? There's no power source. How is this phone working?
Well,
how am I talking to somebody across the world?
Right.
Well,
with no strings connected.
Back in the 1900s, the gramophone, or you can send your own record discs. You would record on that little thing, and you would
Do you
not
guys
email.
remember when wireless controllers were a thing, and you're like, holy,
absolutely.
How am I playing video games?
You got a wireless controller now, and it's like, man, that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
But how the hell does it work?
Yeah.
You have to have a receiver plugged into your system still. Like now, you don't have anything. It's just
frequencies.
It's connected to Skynet. It's connected to something, right? It's connected via something.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's wireless technology. It's wild. We were like kind of the last. Yes, to piggyback off of that, but I think like growing up from a big square box TV to a 2-inch TV to the internet being at our hands, I think that's the difference. That's the mind blowingness. That the generation that I can't even imagine going to grammar school with a Twitter, with anything you do, positive or negative. Especially like if I imagine like me growing up with my friends. Me and my friends were rough around each other. We would joke, we poke fun, we would talk shit, we would roast each other. So I can't imagine us with Twitter, with or Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat at sixth grade, seventh grade, high school. Like no, I'd be expelled. I'd be canceled. Or I would probably feel. I would embarrass myself or my friends or other people just because as a kids you don't really think, and the technology now.
We grew up and we forgot about some of the shit we've done. Now this is time stamped and they can remember and look back on it. It's forever.
And you can pull it up. You can pull it up, and that's the thing. You have a digital record. So now it's something.
Right? The
digital footprint.
Right.
So that's the kind of the scary thing now, and it depends to me is what direction. What direction does that? Because now whatever, like let's say someone's kid at 15. Well, now when they're 40, someone can pull up. Well, when you were 15, you said this, and we're not going to. We're a company that believes in this, and you said this. Nope, we're not. We don't. Yep. And it's crazy because it's a digital, like a multiverse. It's a digital Ready Player One at all times. I can if we lived with like the Facebook thing. At 2 a.m. I could pop into your thing. Yo, what are you doing? Are you awake? And I'd be there in a hologram or Tupac hologram or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, the technology it blows my mind, man. Yeah. I go on the rabbit hole, as you can see, but we're here now.
But it's exciting to see what the future's gonna bring, though, because like Josh said, like we look at it like that, but of course the generation before us said the same thing.
Absolutely.
And the generation after us is gonna say the same thing because it's just becoming more accessible. And like he said, you do have hope that these kids are going to use this technology for good and find easier ways to do things that we've been doing hard for years.
Lightsabers. Someone got to create lightsabers.
They just created one. You saw that video?
Did that? Oh, did they?
I saw.
It went up.
Oh, it went
what's
to
that
sound.
real?
I hope so. I've seen like 10 lightsaber videos. The real light, and I'm like, technically.
Recently, I saw one and I was like, holy cow, I need that.
Okay.
I think it was
you
made
have
by
to
the
send me that
company.
link.
So I think it was made by like some kind of top company.
Yeah,
too.
you saw it. He did a demonstration and like it literally went up. And
I think one of the writers or something from Star Wars or somebody is the one that showed it off.
Yeah, I've seen the video. I thought that was, I don't know. I was like, that looks like some
Could be
CG.
Could be.
CGI.
Everything's CGI now. I'm CGI.
See, that's so before we switch subjects, that's the other thing about like AI and artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, and anything can be recreated or anything can be created, and that's the truth. Or that, wait a minute, if we follow down that path, we can live in a world of what the fuck is real.
Right.
Because who created this? What's the source? If we go down that path, if you want to follow, if you want to entertain that white rabbit,
you know what? I don't know why nobody in the art space has connected these dots. But it's like with the AI thing and like not wanting your art to be stolen digitally. It's like one day we're gonna need a technology that could verify the authenticity of a digital property, which that's already been invented, and we talk about it all the time. It's called an NFT.
Yeah.
If there's going to be a time where like the internet will have to be completely verified by NFTs, so that like, because an NFT check is different than if there was a way to make like an NFT blue check, and in like what's the word? Incorporate that into the actual like UI of a website, maybe. That's not like an Instagram check. Anything with like blockchain technology. If you've ever sat down and like had someone, because I've had people who are much more knowledgeable on this than I am, and somebody who actually codes in this stuff. I know somebody who actually codes in like crypto. He explained to me how Bitcoin works. And when people
had exploded.
Well, when people say Bitcoin is unhackable, it's like unhackable. Like you would have to have, because the way that the system works is you would have to have more computing power than 51% of the system to hack one transaction. So it's just not humanly possible. So when it comes to like blockchain technology, that stuff is actually super secure. So if you have your art piece and it's verified as an NFT, then there's nobody that's going to be able to recreate your art piece using AI and say, oh, I'm so-and-so, I'm this famous artist, is going to, oh, well, wait, where's the NFT check?
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, I don't know. It's like, oh, well, so-and-so has like their stuff verified as an NFT. So that we know you're not the real one because everybody else's stuff is like verified by an NFT. So I'm really surprised that nobody's like talking about like what, because there was a time where like there was like that was such a polarizing conversation was NFTs. People were like on two sides of the fence. Like, but that technology could be used to solve one of the problems that you have with AI and stealing art. Right. So it's interesting. No, but I haven't heard anybody talk about that though, unless I'm just completely wrong. Like you can't, to my understanding, I don't see why you couldn't use. That's what NFTs were. It's a non-fungible token to verify a piece of digital property, and that's what you would need if we're afraid of like AI stealing, and specifically in terms of AI stealing art, NFTs would be a potential solution to that, because then we know we know who actually created the piece. There like
I don't know if this is a dumb question, because I just one with the NFTs that just confused me. I'm like, whatever. I'm staying away from that. I know there's probably money to be made, but I'm just staying away from something I don't know, and I don't have the time to educate myself. I'm not putting money into it. Just like Bitcoin and all these other things. My roommate does all that, but I'm good on that. But is there like a government or who regulates all that stuff?
It's not independent, right? It's all independent.
No, it's not. Right. It's regular. So it depends. See, now you guys got me started.
Yeah, but I'm saying like,
brief synopsis, because I know you can go deep.
Yeah, if I was to say like, you're not the artist, who do I go to be like prove that they're not the artist? You know what I mean? Like
you go to the code.
I would have to do that, right? And I'd have to find the code, and then they can't find the.
Well, so what I'm saying, and like in terms of like a so let's say that it was possible, which it's not currently, but let's say it's possible to create a check mark for an artist that's verified by an NFT. The check mark itself is a non-fungible token. So that means that like we know that this person on this account with the NFT check mark, we know that that's actually George. So anything you post on that account, we know George actually posted it.
Okay.
Now, if somebody goes and
Claims to be me.
claims to be you without that non-fungible token,
Then
it's basically useless.
Gotcha.
And now, that's
so
something
it's
that
like a glorified verified mark.
right. It's a little bit more clunky to do it because it's not as simple as like there's no like NFT check mark. You would have to mint right now. You would have to mint each piece of digital art that you upload. You'd have to mint the individual artworks instead of a.
But anybody can
page.
create an NFT, right?
Anybody can create an NFT, but they can't duplicate and recreate yours. So even if you make one, let's say you make a piece of art, you mint it as an NFT. Somebody takes that same file and mints it as an NFT. Well, which one belongs to George?
Right, that's the real one.
That's the real one.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Complex, man.
Yeah. And then
this is the battlefield of new
art. We're gonna be talking about this 5 years from now and be like, wow.
It's gonna be way more complicated.
Yeah, it's gonna be way more.
But when you were talking about
Skynet,
because this is something that is always interesting and important to me when it comes to crypto and blockchain technology. It's so insane and it's hard to wrap your head around. But and again, I'm not going to do a good job of explaining it. But these technologies, Bitcoin isn't run by anybody. It's run by the collective. It's an open source software that's run by the network. And then you have, so it's completely decentralized. Bitcoin is completely decentralized. Then you have things that are semi-centralized, like Ethereum, which it uses the same idea, but there are developers to Ethereum. There is a team that develop it, so it's slightly more centralized. And then in the future, we're going to see basically the same technology adapted, probably by banks, and that will be 100%. Centralized because it's a bank. But these technologies, it is possible to have technology and systems that are they're not run by an individual, and it's hard to fathom because you're like, oh well, whoever wrote the original code could just change whatever they want or make it how they want. But once you understand how the code works, no, you can't do that. Once the code is written that way, it can't be changed. Like there is no way to. The easiest way to try to understand it is look up Bitcoin and search like how the hashing works. I think it's like SHA-42 or something like that. If you look that up and you try to figure and you realize what it would take to create a false transaction, it's at this current time it's impossible. It will be impossible for probably a millennia.
It's a lot of information. I think it's very complex, but from my basic understanding, what I really like about it is kind of like decentralized. It's not controlled, meaning so like artist to artist, we can send money instantly. It's not taxed. It's not this. It's not that. Like, wait a minute, because everything is taxed. And wait. As we know, allegedly, somebody they would tax this for that, and we're lining other people's pockets for what? For we're getting greased. Hey, we're getting shaken down. We don't like that. So if we create kind of our own currency or something, but I believe it's, to me at least, in my basic knowledge, it's kind of like in the infancy levels. It's good. It's a great concept, but there's still little kinks, and obviously complexity is all going along. But I really like this, a decentralized form of currency that many people can use. It's digital and super easy transact. It's just it gets lost in the sauce.
Yeah. That's the beautiful thing about it. And there will be better iterations, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And there will be a better technology built on top of it. But 100%, like at the end of our lives, I truly believe that like if like crypto will be a big part in that technology. It's going to be a huge part because it's safer. It's actually safer. Right. And people don't realize is like the number you pull up on your phone when you look at your bank account, it's pretty much just those pixels on that screen.
Yeah,
That's
which is crazy.
It's pretty much
It's digital. It's a
all
digital
it is.
number.
It's all digital.
It's a digital number of 0 and 1s because it's in the Matrix.
When they printed all that money in 2020, there are still people today that think they like fired up like the printing press. They added a 0 to a computer. They just added it to a computer. It's not, but digital currency is digital.
Yeah,
but it's not secure like these cryptocurrencies are for the most part. Yeah.
Well, it's like Miguel was saying that artists are going to be benefiting from all that too, because the artists are going to be able to privately own their own stuff now. And they're going to make their own money.
Yeah, they get more power.
But the thing is now is like, let's say like music wise, if you put this, you NFT a song or something, and then sooner or later the big companies are gonna want like, oh, I'm gonna sign you, but I want to own 50% of your NFTs too. So like right now is a time for artists to like really take advantage of this.
Right.
For later on with something that is gonna happen, you're gonna start fucking making money out of your own product and getting the middleman out of it, you know?
Right. Yeah, 100%.
I think we reached that time.
Ladies and gentlemen, since you've been listening, I want to welcome you back to Por el Dolor podcast. Today's guest, we have somebody, as I seen somebody like very cool, mellow dude that I've met since the beginning, and it's coming around from being around George, Mass Attack. He's actually part of Mass Attack. And just meeting him around from the different gigs he's done with them, I've just gotten to admire him more and more as a person, because he's like very intellectual. He's very smart, and he's very mellow. A lot of times you meet a lot of smart people that are not very mellow. You meet a lot of smart people that are like, I know more than you, and like have this kind of energy to them. But no, he's mellow. But like I said, he carries his energy with him too, because when you see him, you recognize him by his hair. Another thing is you're gonna recognize him by the way he dresses. A lot of times when he does, when he's performing, he has the glasses on. He has a nice chill vibe, look to him, and you're right away you recognize his energy just by the look, you know. But as I kept going more and more, meeting him every time, he just became more interesting, because you get to learn new things about him. Like I've learned that not only does he
Words.
Not only does he do music, but he also does film. And to me, that's where I sparked like a big interest, because that's something that I'm really getting into, you know, and learning from now what you're doing. First, I started learning about you doing a skateboard magazine. And that's when I was like, whoa. So you don't only do music? What is this? And I started getting more interested into the skateboard company, the magazine, and learning that you're creating these videos and everything that comes with it, and then learning that you actually do this as a professional way is just amazing. And I'm like really more interested in you as a person and what you do, because I'm like, holy shit, this guy is in another level, and I could learn so much from him. So it's been amazing to, even if it's been for a short time or even short moments, but as you can see, you've impacted in a big way. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Josh from Mass Attack.
Wow. I feel like nothing I say after that fantastic intro is going to amount
See?
to that intro. I have to follow that up.
Yeah, no. We should just end the podcast right now.
Yeah, he
Just after
actually
that, yeah.
he covered it, man.
That's
we can wrap it up. Thank you for that. Wow, I'm very humbled. That's That's
Salud.
thank
Salud.
you.
Yeah,
Salud.
salud.
Thank you.
Salud.
Thank you for letting us do this.
Yes,
Yeah,
bro.
absolutely.
Thank you for
Oh,
inviting
man.
us and your place too.
I have been looking forward to this for some time now to sit down
I know.
with you guys. This is gonna
I
be.
forgot one of the first shows, but I think I was pleasantly under the influence, and you guys were jamming. This is my first time seeing. I haven't caught the full Mass Attack experience, the ensemble. So every time I see it, it's always something new, because either there's XYZ came in or there's new something. So it's always an experience. So I'm buckle in and let's go. So one of the first times I seen you, the hair was out. You gave me the Hendrix vibes. You gave for real. You gave me like a 70s, and I'm a huge Hendrix fan. And I don't remember if you had a bandana, but the hair was out, and you were just lost in it. And you were just I think you were doing your intros where you're like, oh, okay, this is so and so. This is when they all have their own little, they all have their own solos. And then everybody was just going ham.
Oh, Nest Fest.
Everybody, was it Nest Fest?
Might have
I
been,
don't
'cause
remember.
We did solos at Nest Fest.
Yes.
It might have been that one.
Yeah. So I remember one of the first times. I'm like,
Well,
whoa.
the first one's probably
Yeah, one of the.
we did one for AJ for South Ave. We did
that
a
might
benefit
be.
for him.
That might be.
That crowbar in that back
Yeah.
room.
Yeah. There's.
And that's when you had the Naruto headband and everyone.
That
was
might
dancing
be.
back.
That might
Oh, the
be.
do-rag.
Might
Yeah,
have
the
been.
do-rag.
Yeah,
and everything.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Could
Yeah.
have been that
Oh,
one.
and
Or the record store.
The record store.
The record
Yeah,
store.
there
He
was
had
one
the
of
glasses
those.
on in the
Yeah.
record store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might have
Gave
been
me the vibes.
But
and then,
I mean, it's every show. Josh is just, no. I've had people come up to me afterwards, and I've had girls come up to me. And, no. And you know what? They'll be like,
I forgot what I was
he's
saying.
blushing. He's blushing.
and you know,
We're gonna post a picture.
you know, you never get used to people coming up to you afterwards because you're always just like, whoa, I'm just regular person. But when they come up to you and they're like, man, you did so good, I'm like, thank you. And then they're like, is your guitarist single? And I'm just like, hey,
What am I? Chop liver?
no. You would think, you would think, right?
Go in the back.
Normally, I guess other people in bands probably be like, what do you mean I'm the lead singer? But no. For me, I get so happy when they ask about the other guys because I'm like, he's right over there. Go talk to him. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think it's amazing. And I've had at the record store show, I had some girl. She didn't want to come up to me. She went up to my sister and was like, oh, you know them? And she's like, yeah, that's my brother. And she's like, okay, is your brother's friend single? The one with the glasses and the guitar? And I was like,
Yes, that's beautiful, man.
yeah.
For
he
whatever
steals
reason,
the spotlight
yes.
because he's just
The energy.
it's the energy. Like we talked on the last episode. You know, you gravitate towards people who are just, you can tell by the way they look. They're just happy and they're just, when they're doing something, it could be anything, right?
Yeah.
You can look at somebody doing something and you're like, okay, that person looks like they're enjoying what they're doing. Whatever it is. It could be
It's the
anything. It could be the
vibes.
smallest thing. It could be something big. But you see them and you can tell genuinely that person is enjoying what they're doing. And
He's in
every time
love.
Josh is playing the guitar, you can tell he's enjoying himself and he's lost in that moment. He fully embraces the moment. He's not, you know, like when you go to a concert and people pull out their phones and they're on their phones the whole time.
Yeah.
They're not really enjoying the show, right? I mean, they are partially, but they're really living through their phone.
Yeah.
Josh is the opposite. Josh is the kind of guy you go to a concert with, and as I've been to a concert with him, and he's enjoying the show. And those kind of people are rare when they're in the arts because they're not doing it for other reasons. Josh is doing that because he genuinely loves playing the guitar and playing music and like doing shows. And like, I couldn't ask for a better person to be part of the group. You know?
Can this whole
Hold
podcast?
on, give me that. Which one's the there you go.
Yes.
There you go.
And also, this is George.
Yes, I was gonna say. Also, we also here with George.
Oh yeah. No,
By the way.
this episode's about Joshy. But I'm here. I'm here
This
for
is
support.
equivalent
I'm here
of,
for support.
oh, you did a great song. It was so that guitarist though.
Right. That was a good
We are
show.
also here with George.
No, it's cool. I'll be Mike Wazowski today. I'm cool with that. I love it.
Good one.
Look,
Oh, shit.
with the way this podcast has started, I have no problem just unplugging my mic and letting y'all talk about me. That
It's like
this is fantastic.
the opposite of a roast.
This is yeah.
This is
Well, to me, this is our experience into your world. You know what I mean? Like you're an artist. We consider you an artist, and we're working with different artists. And for what we're learning, every artist is different. Every
Yep.
artist has they all have their unique creative process, their passions, and how they create and how they get into their zones and how how they vibe and how they work. And there's a lot of similarities, and it's pretty cool to actually get in depth because like George said, you're doing it because you want to be there. You genuinely are jamming out, and I feel that. I resonate with that because I've been to many of bands. You've seen many musicians that they don't want to be there getting money. They're good or anything, but there's something about when someone wants to play, someone puts those hours in and practices and just wails and not only gives off the visual of a Hendrix, but the sound, the auditory, like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait, whoa, wow, wait, whoa.
Just unplug it.
See, I'm gonna let you guys go because
That one even I fell for.
Actually,
'Cause the thing is-
ChatGPT told me to say that. I actually, how do I flatter a guest? Compare him to Jimi Hendrix. No, but honestly, you gave off the George. It's the vibes, and I think both of you guys. It's an excellent segue for both of you guys. How the hell did the universe bring both of you guys together?
Oh, yeah. It's I'm glad we get to touch on this, and I'm glad you're here too, George. Because I don't know, I feel like I've gotten to say this. I think I talked a little bit about it on the South by Southeast podcast. But if really, if it wasn't for George, I really wouldn't be doing anything with music. And the way, the way that had even, the way that I even ended up in Mass Attack was, we know each other from another band called Detour North, and I was really involved with that band. I didn't play an instrument or anything like that, but I was really involved with that band. And once they retired that band, shortly after that, George was trying to start his band for Mass Attack, and he put a bunch of musicians he knew in a group chat, and then he threw me in there because he knew I played guitar, and he threw me in there. And I remember being in the group chat, and I'm like, "There's plenty of musicians here that like can do what they need." But I'm in this group chat, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna have a practice." So I was like, "All right, well, I'll like come through the practice," and I showed up to take pictures. And they get practicing, and it was only Kim at the practice. And
good old Kim, man.
Yeah, there we go. Clap it up for Kim. That is the man right there. And as they're practicing, I guess nobody had really claimed the second guitar spot. Kim was talking about. He was like, when they're practicing, he's like, "Oh, I was like, well, if we don't have another guitar player, we'll have to like use loops." And George is like, like looking at me, nudging me. He's like, "Well, you play guitar, don't you?" And I'm like, I was like, maybe I'm just here to shoot pictures. At the end of the practice, though, I went up to Cam. I was like, so do you guys really need a second guitar player? He's like, yeah. I was like, would it help like if you had another guitar player? He's like, absolutely. I was like, all right. So then I went home and learned all the songs. And the next practice, I was there actually practicing with the band. So that's how I got into Mass Attack. And yeah, again, like if it wasn't for this, I would have never like played a live show with like a band. I've played like open mics and stuff like that, but playing full band and playing stuff like we've played, like I would have never had done that if it wasn't for George and Mass Attack. So thanks for that.
Yeah, wow, bro.
Thanks for that. It's beautiful, man.
Full circle. Kudo Matata.
I mean, I'm a big believer of feeding your family first, right? And I could have reached out to other musicians. I know other musicians, but the guys in Detour North are like family to me. All of them, from the singer, Emmanuel, whose home we're also in, Josh's roommate, and they've done a lot of projects together. I mean, Emmanuel and I go way back. His older brother Eric's my best friend, and all of them. I've watched these guys grow up. I went to their very first show. Wow. I went to Detour North's very first show in a elementary school gym.
Wow.
Yes. They were in like 8th grade. I was a couple years older, but I was like, you know what? That's my homie's little brother. I'm going to go check him out.
8th grade?
Their first show.
That's how long they've been playing.
Yeah, they've been there for a minute. I went to their talent show. I watched them perform. I felt weird because I was a high schooler sitting in an elementary school gym. But I was like, these are my boys. Then a couple years later, they played the talent show at high school, and I saw them there. And any show I got to go to, I was like, yeah, I'm there. I mean, these guys were I've always wanted to be on a stage doing music. I've known that since I was really young. And then me and John got the opportunity to do that as a rap group. But to see them rock on stage, that gave me motivation to be like, hey, if these guys doing it and they're younger than me, I need to get my ass up on the stage and I know I'm talented. I got to do it, right? They gave me the confidence. So Detour North is family, all of them. And I knew Josh wasn't directly in the band, but he was in the band. Like this man was behind the scenes. He did a lot. Him and Roman too. Shout out to Roman, their manager. Roman is Detour North just as much as any one of the guys in there. And that's how I see it. So the first people I wanted to reach out to when I wanted to do Mass Attack Live was them, including Roman and Josh. Like, hey, anybody wants a part in this, I want you guys to have first dibs, right? Nice. Because I saw the vision in my head. Like, I know it's going to be successful. I know it's going to sound dope. I know that we're going to get shows booked. Like, I knew it. But it was just about executing and making sure that these guys were down. And they were all like, hey, we're doing this for fun. What's the worst that can happen? We can't lose. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we're still jamming out and we're not getting rusty. So it was a win-win for everybody. And then I think to get closer with the guys, because I've known them, but I wasn't really like close with them. To get closer with them and meeting them, it was just, you can tell, man, all of these guys are genuine guys. And each member in Detour North, including Josh and Roman, are so talented on their own. So when they come together, it's like Megatron, man. It's like not Megatron, Voltron. It's like you got all of them connecting together, and it's like, man, and it. Nothing against Detour North. I wish they just never broke up because they were so talented. But I get it. They all had their own things that they wanted to explore, and they're still young. Who knows? Right. They might come back together and do something else together. But solo, they're all creative and amazing. And I want to say this real quick, and I'm gonna stop talking because this is Josh, but. Josh is so much more than a guitar player. Because like he just said, he wasn't even playing music a couple years ago like that. Like he was playing it, but not like that. This man is just a genuinely good person in everything he does. He's a multimedia. I mean, this dude shoots videos. He does promos. He does marketing. He's a marketing genius, for real. Give
me your intro of Josh. We have Voyagers. There you go. Perfect segue. There you go. Look at that.
Josh does it
almost
all,
like we know
man.
what we're doing.
And he also does motivational speeches. Yes. To me in the car, when we're on the way to the studio. No, but recently, I just went to go see him speak at a Black History Month celebration. He did he was a keynote speaker there. So I mean, you can just tell whenever this man is on a mic or whenever this man is in a room full of people. Everybody who I've introduced Josh to that didn't know Josh before, nothing but good things. Yeah. Josh is a great guy. He's a nice guy. He's a sweet guy. Because Josh lives his life the way everybody should live their life, and that's by being himself 100%. Even when he has his down days, he still tries to pick other people up. You know what I'm saying? And like
we need them. We're
very similar in that sense that I think when I have my down days and I'm around him, I feel better. And I feel like, okay, you know what? If I can do it, he can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. We balance each other out like that, and I think that's important. Yeah, exactly, bro. Because the world is a shitty place, and you get hit a lot. But if you got people like that to help you up, then you feel like, you know what? We got to keep it moving. If they're keeping it moving, I keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, Josh is so much more than a guitar player, and I have to say that. And Josh is his own individual artist in every sense of that word. Wow. This dude is a fucking genius. Wow. And I am so happy, so proud, and so grateful to have this dude by my side. And I'm like tearing up, bro.
Beautiful.
Because, for real, man. Like, that shit.
Salute, man. Thank you.
That shit is rare, man. Yeah, when you meet people like that, you got to keep them close.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Grab onto them.
Like, even if Mass Attack stops making music,
I'm
going to keep this dude by my side for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the kind of people that you need.
Yeah. So, you need people like me.
I'm going to let it go back to this guy. But
ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to Porter Lord. That's all we have for today. Everybody
Josh is going to go in the bathroom and cry for a bit.
I think I don't know if there's anything else. I don't know if there's anything else I can add to any of this.
My god,
this is too much. Too much.
Perfect segue to talk about more of your multimedia.
Yeah,
and also
absolutely.
Yeah, multimedia. Let's get into
it. Before we do that, I'm going to take a piss.
Yes, you can do
I'm
that.
not going to the bathroom to cry.
You sure?
Yes. I'm going to take a piss.
I might make a sandwich while you're gone.
So hot in here.
Yeah, it's warm in here. It's definitely warm.
It's warm with good feelings.
Yeah. Josh is taking a break. What have you guys been on? What's up with the...
We've been on a journey, man. So we just finished all the 93 Studios, and then Shay put us on the one that
Viviana.
Viviana,
Yeah,
the
Shout
one,
out to the
yeah.
big.
So we had an impromptu, literally. So we were supposed to do like a
promo,
like a little 5-10 minute like quick
Intro.
What I
promo,
posted today, like that.
Yeah.
something like that. And then when we actually Shape was there and everybody, and I'm like, well, let's see how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 minutes turned into 40 minutes.
Yes,
and
you
I'm
got
like,
an episode with her
yo, yes.
coming?
So
Love that.
And we
Tomorrow.
might slide that in tomorrow
For the week coming up, right?
For her
Perfect.
project for Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, I'm
or
gonna
Sunday.
come as many
And I
days
give you your
as I can.
shout
me
out
too.
too.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
and then I met you through Mass, and she did the live
Yeah,
painting.
painting during Nest Fest.
Yeah. So
I mean, I think it's awesome, bro. And I think that now with you guys, with the South by Southeast podcast, with, I think just us genuinely being friends and connecting with each other and on like more of just like this is not business, but we're also homies and we also can see each other at random places and say, what up? It's not weird. We're not like, oh, that's the podcast. Let's just, what's up? And that's it. Like we'll sit there and catch up. And I love that.
Yes.
We're actual friends.
Oh yeah, I'll take
And I love that we're all
Thank
like
you, sir.
He wants to hear us talk
connecting
more.
each other, man. We're connecting.
He wants more compliments. He's like, let me get these guys nice and saucy.
Compliment juice right here.
I'm gonna get some. This is gonna
These are
last
the
me a
twists.
few months.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Another round.
Another salud.
Another saluti. Gracias a todo. Thank you.
Salud.
I appreciate both of you guys.
Yeah.
I was telling Fred one thing about the podcast is we've been introduced to a world of creatives. When I met this man, he's as you know,
Yeah.
he's his own Voyager. You know what I mean?
That's
His
the
own,
beautiful part.
Yeah.
Everyone got their thing, bro.
Mhm.
And if we all come together,
Yes.
man, it's just it's a beautiful thing to see us grow and not be haters.
Yeah.
Chicago's full of
That's the
haters,
thing.
but we're just getting stronger because we're a big ass garden trying to feed everybody, trying to
Well,
feed the community.
I think to piggyback real quick off of like the hating thing is because with Steven's the whole documentary, it's the crab mentality, the
Buckets.
pulling each other. Yes, pulling. It's not. I think that's a what's the word, like ingrained trait to bring people
a
down
stigma.
to
Stigma on the east side, bro.
yeah, wait. I think now we're learning like wait, like Wakanda, like Chadwick Boseman. No. We don't do that here. No. There's another way to work. Everybody can eat. Well, we don't take off of your plate. Well, if I'm an artist and you're an artist, usually it's competition. Oh, I want to sell more. I want to be better. I want to be bigger. More likes. No.
It's like pull up to my gallery
Yes.
and I'm gonna show your art. Like
So
that's what
I'll give in another blah, Alan down the block from Major Cuts.
Yeah, shout out
He's
to
friends
Cuts.
with all the
Man.
barbershops. He's
And
friends
that's-
with all the
that's love.
barbers.
That's
Instead
love.
of being competitive, he shows them loves. He shows up to their shows and they show love back. And it's like, whoa,
Where has this been?
where's
Yeah.
this been? And I think
That's much needed.
whatever the complexities of it, what happened, this, that, we can get lost in it, but it's happening now. For whatever reason, now the love is getting there. It's more people. I don't know if we understand each other's struggles more, the technology, now that we understand that we're not, hey, maybe this guy over there, we do share a lot. Oh, he likes anime, or he this man sounds like Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
There's women around him. I want to be his friend. You know what I mean?
Josh is gonna be the face of Mass Attack, bro. I'm down with that. If
Psychedelic.
it works, it works,
you got to
bro.
do a psychedelic cover.
whatever gets
Josh's
us
hair
heard,
flow.
I'm cool with. I'll rap behind Josh the whole show.
You hear it first.
I'm cool with that.
Recording, you'll
You guys
come
have got
over.
to stop comparing me to Jimi
Yeah.
Hendrix.
The
I do
Josh
not play
Allen
guitar
Mass
like
Attack
that.
Experience.
I do not play guitar
Was that
like
band
that.
called Inni Benilli or Benilli?
Millie
Millie
Vanilli.
Millie
Yeah.
Vanilli.
He's just gonna do everything.
They got busted for lip syncing. I think.
Right? Yeah.
You might have to. I'm gonna put Josh in the front. You get busted too.
So we were at. You are a creative, not just a musician, but there's something about you that it's a creative. Where did that come from? That
Oh, that's a great question. I actually have an answer for that.
he was thinking about it.
Well, yeah, might take a segue. First I'll say, in terms of currently, like my biggest creative endeavor is filmmaking. The freelance business that running and the agency that I'd like to build, Josh Allen Media. That's what I do every day, all day. I'm a full-time video editor, video producer, and I've been doing that since 2020, October 2020. It's funny because it's like all of 2020. I wasn't like the last job or the last company I was with. That just stopped because of COVID. Yeah. So I wasn't really doing anything other than filmmaking, but October of 2020 is when I decided that I wasn't going to get another like regular job again. I was just going to focus on, I was going to focus on my business. But I originally got into filmmaking because, again, Detour North, I think it was like 2017, Emmanuel did their first music video, and I was just, like George said, like I was just always around the band. So when it was like, oh, we got a music video shoot, I'm there to do whatever we need. And I wasn't thinking anything of it, but I get there and he's got like other film students there. And it was my first time being like on like an actual shoot. They had like film equipment that they borrowed from like the school and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And that was really cool. And I remember that whole shoot. I was like, man, why haven't I been doing this? Because I really wanted to be a filmmaker when I was a kid, like when I was 8 years old. You guys remember like 2-disc DVD sets?
Oh, yeah.
Whenever there was a 2-disc DVD set, I would grab the 2-disc and I because that second disc normally had like behind the scenes and stuff like that. And I remember watching any behind the scenes I remember just being like, man, that's what I want to do. And specifically with Star Wars Episode 1, I would watch.
we need a Star Wars button.
Yeah, we need a Star Wars button.
We gotta find it. Hey, we need a setup like Miguel had. The whole fucking one of our homies, he had a whole like a dope setup. Yeah, it was like, what the fuck? We didn't even use like one. We made like two. But there was a whole. Sorry, didn't. No, but you sent me down the Star Wars thing. Wait. Can I see the arm?
Oh yeah.
Look at this. What is that? Can you describe that?
It's so the tattoo I have on my arm says "This is the way." That's from The Mandalorian. It has 3 Mandalorian helmets, one of which is a female helmet, 2 of which are male helmets, and that is for my twin sister and my 2 younger brothers.
Oh, that's dope. So way back when I know it's dated, but it's the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
And
with the Mandalorian seal. That's dope.
It's the Mythosaur skull. I tried to redo it. This was years ago. But yeah, so this was I think when the prequels first came out, something around that time.
Well, you got that tattoo. Having the seal. That's a deep cut.
Yeah,
like nobody knew what that was.
I'm like a level 85 nerd. So anytime you Star Wars, there's
Jedi, bro. Come on, bro. You can't be called Jedi and not know.
I peeped that and I'm like, oh, we're gonna be friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is definitely we're gonna do karate in the garage.
But no, Star Wars was a huge
really,
it was a huge reason that I am like the creative that I am today. I would watch I remember watching like the behind the scenes for Star Wars Episode 1, and I'm an 8-year-old kid, and George Lucas is like, this is the part of the documentary before they even got to like the actual shooting of Star Wars. He's in an office with his first AD and his producer. They just got off the phone with Ewan McGregor, and they're talking about budgets. And they're like, they're in an office somewhere. They're not even on set yet. Yeah. And I remember being an 8-year-old kid thinking that scene, looking at George in the office. I'm like, that looks like a regular job. And I started thinking to myself, I'm like, but they made Star Wars, so if I got to go get a regular job, I want that one.
Wow. And the wisdom.
Yeah,
the wisdom of an 8-year-old,
and that's what I was thinking of. Like,
brought to you by Star Wars.
Padawan.
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking of. Like when I was a kid, I was like, well, that's what I want to do. In high school, I took a slight detour, got really into skateboarding, which we're going to connect that back later. But I got really into skateboarding, and that's what I did all of high school. That was like the first place I ever really felt like I belonged, that community.
Got your Rodney Mullen on or what?
Oh man, like I was so into it. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to like go pro and stuff. I was not good enough to do any of that. So I hit like an identity crisis in like my early 20s, because like now I'm like I still skate to this day, but like I'm too old to go do anything with skateboarding. I'm not going to make a career out of that. And I don't know, like I don't have a thing, like I don't have like anything to like really pursue. And then eventually we get on that set with Detour North in their first music video. So now I'm sitting on this set and I'm like, man, this is like when I was a kid. This is what we wanted to do. So like now it's back in my life. I'm like, I want to do this again. So it was about 2017 that I got back into filmmaking seriously. And so I remember after that shoot, Emmanuel was talking about going and making some other music videos for some other artists. And I told him, I was like, whatever you do, I'm in. Like, I'm in. Like, whatever you need, I'll show up. Whatever you want. I want to like get back into this, and I want to learn it.
That's dope.
And we would go on, and I would work on a lot of his videos. But in the meantime, in between time, I didn't wait for Emmanuel either. I got on Instagram, and I'd searched hashtag Chicago director, and I would cold DM random producers and video makers in Chicago and tell them the same thing. I'm like, hey, I want to like learn filmmaking. I want to get into this field. Can I just come help you out on a shoot?
Oh, wow.
And I met a couple of cool guys like that.
They
and
actually said yes?
A couple of them did. Yeah.
Scram, kid. That's usually the response, right?
You know, it wasn't like
ignoring.
it wasn't like a huge success rate, I'd say, but there are at least two guys that I remember getting on some shoots with and learning a lot. So I did that, so I got into this field at for the first like 3 years.
Yeah.
Let's see, wait, up until 22 years. For the first like 2 years, I didn't even own a camera.
Yeah.
I was getting into filmmaking without even owning a camera. I was just
about right.
getting on projects and just doing what I could do. I did have like a laptop that I was able to edit on, but I just wanted to get in that field, and I didn't let that stop me. And so it was a lot of like just getting on projects and networking. What I could bring to video projects though, because previous to Josh Allen Media, I was running a company with my dad called Bright Nights, and it was after school programs. But me and my dad ran that company. I had experience running a company, so I was able, and I learned a lot how to deal with clients, how to deal with people, professionalism, and things like that. Was
that the chess one?
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, we
footnote on that.
Yeah, so we would set up after school chess clubs, and I would coach chess clubs, but
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and also like I would learn, but I would be the
Fischer.
main contact for the principals. So I'd have to deal with principals. I'd have to set up schedules and things like that for the programs. I got all of it. I did. I got to experience all of that in that company. My dad still I don't work with that company in that capacity anymore, but my dad still runs it, and it's pretty successful. So I learned a lot from that, and I was able to get on small projects that you wouldn't really have a quote unquote producer. I would be a producer on, because I had the ability, because I was a creative, but I also had this business experience, and at my heart I'm an entrepreneur. Because I had that, I was able to sit in the middle between creative and business, and I was able to talk to both people. So I was able to like make decisions that's like, hey, we just don't really have the resources or the money to do this. We got to do something different. Yeah. But then I was also able to like communicate like, hey, we need to figure it out, because the director, in a lot of cases with like working with Emmanuel, I was working as a producer, and I felt like my job was whenever I showed up to a shoot, my job was, how do I get Emmanuel everything that he needs to make this movie? And that's how I approached like being a producer. So that was something I was able to bring that was different, because I wasn't showing up and being like, hey, I'll shoot this, or hey, I'll edit this. It was like, hey, I'll like solve your problems. Like,
I got the solution.
Yeah,
that's kind of what. That's kind of what I did. So I told you I was gonna connect everything. And your original question was,
Aliens.
where does the where does the creativity come from? That was actually
Aliens.
it might.
The universe. I always think some form of creativity come like ideas. Where do ideas come from? For you as creatives, as artists, where does a song, where does a note, where does that melody come from? Does it come from an influence? Does it come from repetition, or does it come from the cloud? Does it come from a magical source? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know that I have an answer to that, but an unlock that I did have was, this is pretty early on too, maybe in 2000. I think this was 2019 that I had figured this out. Because so on this timeline, we go, kid, want to be a filmmaker, high school, I'm just skating, and then back in my early 20s, I'm back to filmmaking. And I like, when I tell you I got into skateboarding, that was my life. That was my passion, and that's what I called it. That's like, it was that I lived, breathed skateboarding.
Do you have any skateboarders you kind of vibed with?
Oh yeah.
are some of
My
your
favorite
favorites?
skaters back in the day, old school, Mike Valley.
Oh, okay.
And then
Hardcore.
in my generation, my favorite has always been Paul. And then like
Just one name.
Paul Rodriguez.
Paul Rodriguez.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
damn.
Paul Rodriguez.
I'm not-
Paul, yeah.
My boy Paul.
Yeah, right. You could have made that up. I don't know.
P-Rod.
P-Rod, yeah. And then like Theodis Beasley, Stevie Williams with DGK.
Okay. Yeah,
like
DGK.
Theodis Williams.
Theodis Beasley.
Theodis Beasley. See, we
That's
could
a
play a
name.
game on
Yeah.
this show called Porn Star or Skater. And you name some of these names, and you know,
Yeah,
I
got one
guarantee
for
you no
you.
one's getting 100.
P-Rod. DGK.
You know Paul?
Yeah,
Just
Paul.
Paul?
Oh yeah, motherfucking Paul.
No, one of my favorites, Rodney Mullen. Rodney Mullen
yeah.
is the most like technical.
Man.
What the fuck are you doing on a skateboard?
And-
Flipping, bouncing, dark sliding.
Tony
like,
Hawk's brother, Mike Hawk.
Yeah.
Have you seen have you seen
Huge.
Rodney talk? Because we're waiting. We need a documentary on Rodney Mullen, but I don't know if you saw Till the Wheels Fall Off with Tony Hawk. He speaks in that. Rodney Mullen does a tech talk.
Really?
That's really good. I'll find that and I'll send that to you. Rodney Mullen is not just a skater;
No,
he's a
an
philosopher.
articulate. Yes, he's like a
A
Matrix
lot of
dude.
skaters
100%.
are though. Like that's the thing. People forget about skating as an art. Like it's an art just as much as painting, just as much as rapping and singing. Skating is an art, man. Like people think of it as like a recreational activity, but it's not. To be a skater is an artist, bro.
And I think it's difficult in other art forms because of the physical aspect. Because
Body art.
because a good for my understanding, from an outsider's perspective, I play guitar a little. I dabbled, but to learn guitar, you're physical, but a skateboard is different.
Oh, yeah.
You are busting your shit. You are learning
Regularly.
So it's a different form of discipline, because when you take a spill, that might convince you, like, you know what, I might want to play Xbox from now on.
Break a bone and you can't
Break a
skate
bone,
for
yes,
months,
exactly.
and then
You
go
know,
back to it.
So
That's
it tests. I don't know if that's part of the skateboarding gods test. Like, yo, if you want to put your shit into it, you're gonna put your time in. You know, it's but you get. What you put in is what you get out. And then there's so many artistic ways, because you have a Tony Hawk style of skater. There's usually outside views. What was that movie from the 80s? Rad? I think there was like there was a Rad. I think it's one of the first way that I got into like skateboarding and BMXing. Old 80s cheesy as fuck movie. Yes, like Breaking. But one of those like mind blowing when you first watch it, but you rewatch it, you're like, what the fuck? Is this? Cheesy, like over the top. But it was the first introduction to like an alternative culture, skateboarding. You know what I mean?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are the ones
Yes,
People
absolutely.
don't know this about me.
Yeah.
I used to skate.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
I had a neighbor.
We have to have a skate session, all of us.
My neighbor.
Not me
for
though.
real.
I just watch.
No, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn.
He was from South Chicago. He was my one of my dad's friends. Actually, he was my mom's friend. He grew up. He ended up moving down the block from us, and I think him and his girl got into it, and she was like, "You're too old to be skating." So I remember he came down the block and he just gave me the skateboard, and it was nice. It was a nice ass skateboard. I learned about bearings. I learned about all of it because he was teaching me. He's like, "I paid all this money for this. It's yours. I'm gonna teach you. And I was like, damn, this is cool. So I felt like I had to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
But man, I busted my knee like a week later. I put the thing in my closet, never touched it again.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nah, man, I'm not built for that. I
that's a
played Rocket
different-
Power, the video game. That was it. But as far as skating,
different-
Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2,
Pro
bro.
Skater 2 was the best. But I give this man props for being into that because he is passionate about skating. He talks to Josh.
I still do it. I still do it. Like over the winter now, I found out that the House of Vans does free skate sessions, and I'm over there busting my shit once a week at least.
Really? I might join you for real. So I used to skate back in the day, and then just kind of fell off. And it was me and the crew. We were vagabonds. We were just
Right.
South Chicago kids just congregating together. We weren't on shit. We were just hanging out. You know what I mean? We'd be on foot, on bike, or on skateboards.
Yeah, this was
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
But yeah, like skateboarding was a huge part of my life.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, to tie that all back together, going back to that timeline, skating, wanting to be a filmmaker as a kid, skating, and then being back the second time I got back into filmmaking, I was like, so what is? I asked myself, I'm like, there has to be a through line here, because I got a little curious. I was like, skateboarding was my passion, and that was something that I could do it all day. I could talk about it all day. I lived and breathed it. And then filmmaking, it was an equal passion. And so that raised a question. I'm like, so what is it that like ties? There should be something that ties the two together in theory, if I love these things both so much. And this was a big unlock, and this goes back to like where does the creativity come from? I don't have all the answers to that, but I know that like a lot of it is fueled by just a passion, and I realized that a passion, my biggest passion, is storytelling.
Oh yeah,
it's
underlined here,
and that's the through line that I found between skateboarding and filmmaking. The connection that I made was storytelling. I'm like, how did I love this thing so much, skateboarding, and how do I love filmmaking now? And when I thought about what I loved the most about skateboarding was the stories that I was telling, the stories that I was witnessing, and the stories that like I got to be a part of in that community when we would go out and skate. They're like, one of my favorite stories to witness was getting to a spot and seeing somebody throw themselves down a set of stairs for all day, and then finally, right away, like that's a story that like is so important to me, because it's a story about perseverance. So the through line to me between skateboarding and filmmaking, and what I'm actually passionate about, is storytelling, and skateboarding and filmmaking have just been the vehicles that I use to engage in my passion.
That's beautiful.
And to get really meta with it, to get really
I
meta,
like the
right.
word.
Right.
I like how you snuck that in there.
To get really meta with it, it's like, you could break it down to where, any time we were out trying a trick, it's like there's a story there. You get up, you scope out the spot, you try the trick, and then eventually you land it. And you can break that down to the simplest skateboarding trick.
Yeah.
An ollie. An ollie has a 3-act structure.
Yeah.
It has a setup, it has a conflict, and then it has a resolution. It's a 3-act structure to everything that you ever do on a skateboard. And when I found that, I was like, wow, that's like
in life.
Yeah, right.
You guys need to write lyrics for me. Y'all
Yo, I got you. Hey, we're about to chop up some lyrics for you.
You're gonna hear me say Ollie in my next rap, bro.
Oh, and I'm gonna be like, I was there. I was there.
But yeah, that was the
I know the guitarist, not the singer. I'm fucking with you.
That's my boy Josh.
I know him.
You guys want to go see the? You guys want to go see the guitar?
But I think that for me, like with skateboarding, it was a level of, it was a teacher. It was a teacher to me because, all right, stupid, you're going to fall.
Yeah.
All right, stupid, you're going to fall. All right, stupid, you're going to fall. But that moment you land it, that moment where the hours of failure, that moment, I wish you could put that in a pill form.
Oh man.
Because I really believe that could be life changing. It could be game changing for the whole world because it's like, oh yes, you could be by yourself, and if you land that first trick that you've been trying and busting your shit for, it can be the simplest trick ever.
Yeah.
But the moment you land it, you're like, yes,
It
yes,
rushes over
yes.
your
It's a
whole entire
yes.
body. It's like a whole entire body high.
Question for you and you, sir. So you guys are, I believe, multimedia artists. That same thing that you put into skateboarding or music making or journaling, is that plug and play? Can you apply that, what you learned in skateboarding, to guitar? Can you get the same benefits? Or what if, like, instead of, let's flip it, whatever you learn from skateboarding, what if you apply those same methodologies, skeleton keys, to jiu-jitsu? Do you think you'll have the same type of benefits, or nah, I don't float my boat because it's not my jam, really?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's kind of what I was. I think there's things that connect all of these things. And I think that when you learn something, if you're passionate about it, you're learning more than just the thing. So like when I talked about like my passion being storytelling, I started thinking about it. It's like, I'm not passionate about flipping the switch on a camera, hitting a button.
Yeah.
Like those are things.
Yeah.
Like you
Right.
like I'm passionate about what comes of that.
I could create with those things.
I'm passionate about what those tools do. So kind of like with what you're saying, the things that I've learned in like skateboarding, I definitely took those into filmmaking. I anything I learn anywhere, especially if I'm learning in a place of passion, specifically creativity, especially if I'm learning creatively, I use my creative brain, my creative energy in everything that I do, including business, like including being an entrepreneur. I consider that one of my forms of creative expression. Like running a business is a creative expression to me. It's not just like making money. Like it's not just like building a company. That's a form of creative expression to me. So yeah, I take everything I learn and put it into everything I do. And I think if you can't take things that you learn in one area and transfer it to somewhere else, or find something to transfer it to somewhere else, I feel like you're not learning as much as you can. I feel like there's so much more to learn because it's all transferable. There's so many things that you can take out of one skill or one passion and put it into another. And I, like I said, I do that with everything. Another one was filmmaking ended up teaching me how to love music again, because so I also as a kid, like I thought music was going to be my life because my dad was a producer. He produced like gospel and Christian artists. When I was 7 years old, like
You were around it.
I was around it. That's what my dad did too. Like when I was 7 years old, like when I came into consciousness, like that's what my dad was doing. He was like a full-time like musician.
That 80-year-old you yourself was going crazy with all these stars.
And he like so that's what I was used to was just music. He had for the time, like he had a studio, like the whole basement. The whole basement was a studio with keyboards all over the place. Tascams, I think it was, just digital like mix, like the top of the line like equipment for the time.
No shit.
And he had all of that in his base. So that's what I grew up around. I grew up around music.
Did he bring you into the music?
So he brought me into the music, and he gave me my first guitar, I think, and he didn't even play guitar. We kind of learned at the same time. Most of what I know on guitar, I'm self-taught.
Wow.
But he got me a guitar, got me started on that. I think something looking back is at the time that, you know, he's doing this, he's also trying to figure out music as a business. So I also, and this was I'm really getting into music as he kind of got out of the music career and then like went and got a regular job. Like he became a truck driver. So in that transition, I learned and was learning about a lot of the business side of music and how to make music a business. And I think looking back, that ended up being too much of my focus, because when it came time for me to just make music and I was like, oh, I want to make music and I want to put it out, I would get too caught up in the marketing and the business of it, and I would be trying to market songs that I hadn't finished recording. And like that ended up leading me to but at the same time, I'm all like, I was kind of entitled, I think, to music when I was younger. I had this sense of entitlement because it was like, oh, my family does music, so I'm supposed to have like a music career.
Right.
And the closest thing before like joining like Mass Attack and getting to play shows, and the closest project that I got started in music was in like 2015 or 16. A friend of mine, Danny Kluss, he drummed on this. It was like a rock project, and I was recording it. I was recording it with a great producer. I had hired a bass player that like was phenomenal, and it was like this, I was really close to having all this music done. And then at the end of the recording process, I started writing music that was a little bit different, and I just got caught up in like, well, now this new music like that I'm writing is not like the other music that we just recorded, so now what do I do? Like, how do and like I went right down that rabbit hole of like, how do I turn this into a business, and how does this make sense before just getting started?
Right.
And then after that, for a while, I had a little bit of I don't know how to put it. I had a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth with music, because I was trying to do music and I was trying to have that be a part of my life, and I thought that was going to be what I did. I thought it was going to be it, and then it wasn't. And that really discouraged me from like doing anything music wise until me and George, until I like started playing with George. Now what ended up happening, and now the reason that music is back in my life, I feel like it's like almost like a circle, because what I learned from music and what I learned from the whole experience with like the music stuff was to be a little bit more careful with like turning your passion and like trying to make money off of it, or thinking it was something that had to make money. And I was a little bit more careful with that when it came to filmmaking. I was really conscious of that, because I was like, oh well, now I'm really passionate about filmmaking and I want to start making money off of it. But we just tried to do that with music. Like we just were like thinking we were going to make a career out of music, and we do. So I don't want this to happen. And that experience, just like I was a lot more mature when I was like a filmmaker, when I started filmmaking. So I avoided a lot of, those pitfalls. I unromanticized a lot of things really quick when I got into it, and I just I was really good about setting boundaries for myself in like creatively and like business. I'm really I have boundaries and limits for myself in what I do as a business, and if there's like there are certain things that I don't do, certain work that I don't take on, because I know it'll burn me out creatively.
That's very interesting. Question that popped in my head was, for you guys as creative and artists, how do you turn passion into a financial security lane? You know what I mean? If that makes sense, because usually a lot of people we talk to are extremely talented, but they need a standard 9-to-5 to support their passion. And in my eyes, I wish it'd be the opposite, because if they spent a little bit more time or whatever, to me the talent is there, that for whatever reason, whether it's awareness or whatever, like, oh, these are amazing, talented individuals that I believe should be on TV. That should have multiple $1 million tours and records and this
It would
amazing
be
talent.
nice, but it's
So for you guys, how do you turn like a passion that like I really enjoy doing this, but how do I turn something I really, really enjoy doing into putting food on the table, paying rent, living comfortably, you know, which is stuff that usually passions and artists usually like they usually feel kind of hesitant or, you know, charging or money. So for you guys as artists and musicians and multiple talented individuals, how do you turn that, or how do you handle those waters?
It's like patience. I think patience is key. It's not going to come overnight. And if you are doing it for finance reasons, you're not going to make it, you know, as an artist. Because the real battle is internal. Because every day, and I'll tell you this, guys, like the truth, every day I have to wake up and remind myself why I'm doing it in the first place. Even the day we have shows booked, I could still have that battle with, you know, it hits at any moment where it's like, are you sure this is what you want to do? Is music really something you want to do? You're putting yourself out there, one. And two, it's like, okay, why are you doing it? You know, and this is an internal thing, so it's like a struggle. But then you realize nowadays, too, there's so much opportunity. I wouldn't say money, but there's so much opportunity out there to grow as an artist that eventually you can monetize that and eventually you can turn that into. But if you're going there genuinely, it'll come to you. I think it'll come. The last show we did together, you guys came to the one at the Hobart Art Theater.
Oh, yeah.
That was
comedy
beautiful,
show.
man.
That was the first show that I was able
Comedy
to pay Josh and Kem before the show. Like the day of, we were at Kem's house. We ran through a quick rehearsal.
That's
and I got
dope,
to pay
man.
them that day, knowing that we were going to get paid later on for that show. So that was cool because it was like, you know what?
Hell yeah.
I know these guys, they'd be there down, you know, either way. If we didn't get paid or not, they would still perform with me, and I love them for that. But it was nice on my end to say, hey, you guys are trusting me to lead you this way.
Yeah.
I need to at least provide something for you guys. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like I don't be like, hey, I got you on food or beer, whatever it is. But it was nice knowing that, hey, there's opportunity for us to get money. And this is small scale stuff compared to what we, you know, imagine ourselves doing. Yeah. So if we can get money now from little gigs like that, which it wasn't a little gig in terms of anything, it was a big gig for us. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get you.
It wasn't a Mass Attack gig. It was featuring Mass Attack. You know, we got to be the headliner, which was cool. But it wasn't a come to see Mass Attack and featuring comedy. It was the opposite. So, and we still got paid for it. So it was. It shows you that there is opportunity. I think if you just lead with you genuinely caring about what you're doing, and you'll eventually crack that barrier of finding ways to make money. And you just got to get creative with it. I mean, if you're a creative person, you'll get creative and figure it out. I know Kem is going to kick my ass because he's been on my ass about
I'm glad you brought
merch.
up Kem. I have
I
a
mean,
footnote
Kem is
for him. Yeah.
Look.
Kem
I might be
is
the
the
face.
boss.
I might be the face of Mass Attack.
But Kem
and
is the
Josh
boss.
might be the talent, and Kem might be the talent. But Kem is the fucking boss, and he's
What up,
the
Kem?
Wizard of Oz, right? He's behind the curtain.
Yep.
Gay nasty.
Yeah. If I'm Dorothy, that motherfucker's the wizard, bro. So
Yeah, he is.
I you know what I'm saying, for real. And he's been on my ass for 2 years now about merch. But for me, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a very
That is a good idea.
Yeah, I'm a very particular person though when it comes to like my visions. I have something in my head and I have to have it that way. And if it doesn't come out that way, I
You don't want
frustrate
it.
myself and I don't want
That's
it.
good.
It's good and bad. It's a gift and a curse because it's like with music, it could drive me crazy, right? But when it works out, it's like, psh, I told you, I trust in myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
I
these
like
guys trust in me, which is like fucking, I don't know why. It's like me driving the car drunk, and they're like, yeah, we got you. We get in the car, we're good. Hey, but we get home safe. At the end of the day, they look at me, they're like, we did get home safe. All right, we get in the car again. What you?
Yeah.
Not condoning drunk
yes,
driving
no,
again.
do
No.
not,
But that's how it
Yeah,
is
is
with
this the
Josh.
second time?
That's
No,
how
it
it is
wasn't.
with Kem and Josh. They get in the car with me
Allegedly.
regardless, right? They trust me to
Yeah.
drive this shit. You know, whether we go up or down, they get in the car with me, and I love them for that. Yeah. But it's nice to know that it's been working out, little by little for us. But merch is a big thing that I think any artist needs to do, right? If you're an artist that's painting, you need to sell your paintings. If you're an artist,
gotta eat, man.
Yeah, you gotta eat.
You gotta eat.
And not even that, but when you got other people at the table with you, like Josh and
Yeah.
Kem, who are coming in, I'm telling you, I want you here at the table. I gotta provide for them too. You know,
You gotta
as
make
like
sure
the
they
man of the
eat.
house, I gotta provide
Yeah.
for these guys because they're here
Absolutely.
busting their ass to keep the house clean and do everything else. I need to provide for them. So I know that merch is a big thing, but I want to make sure it's executed right at the same time. I don't want to put something that has my name or my brand on there that I don't believe in and I don't think is like a cheap way to get money. I'd rather be broke and be like, we're eating McDonald's again tonight, boys. but
we got a quality
we're
product.
getting that lobster. Eventually we're getting that steak. Like, it'll come. Just trust me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's something that I know I need to get done. Merch is a big thing. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'm going on tour.
Yes.
In the summer.
Exclusive.
Yeah. I'm going on tour. And I know I got
very exclusive. Let me give you a little insight to what it's like to be
I
in
still
George's
have my question
band.
for you, but yes,
This is the first I'm hearing about it. Normally, I find out.
You don't even know.
Normally, I find out about the shows we're playing.
That's how exclusive it is.
That's how
You know how I find out
exclusive it
about the
is.
shows I'm
Give me
playing?
one.
I find out that I'm playing guitar for Mass Attack by opening up my phone and going to Instagram and seeing that George has just posted a flyer for a show.
With tomorrow's date.
What did George tag me in? We're playing
What did
tomorrow.
I say earlier? I love you and you're the best and you're the greatest.
It's a meme or something. No, you got to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Wow.
But we'll go back to the point. The finances will come, and it's just you got to believe in your vision. You got to believe in your product, whatever you're selling, whatever you're doing, whatever you're working on. If you believe in it and you work hard enough, that will come. You know, if you got to get a 9 to 5, if you got to do like what Josh is doing, because Josh does side projects to fund what he really wants to do, but he's busting his ass. You know, make no mistake, he don't have a 9 to 5 job, but he has a fucking job. Like this man is doing multiple jobs on multiple different things, and he has deadlines, and he has different things that he has to get done, and all that is to keep him afloat, to fund his dream.
To fund the passion.
You have to have drive, and you have to be a hustler, natural born hustler. If you're an artist, you got to get creative with the way you're making money. You know, I don't care if you're on the corner. Do what you got to do, but you have to. You have to. If you believe in yourself, you believe in your art, you're gonna find a way. And if not, then you don't care about it enough. It is what it is.
Drop
you
that
know, I'm not trying to
motherfucking
be funny, but it's true.
No, that's real.
You know? It's real. It's real.
is
If you
real.
believe in it, you're gonna, by any means necessary, you're gonna get that shit done.
Yeah. I like
Finances,
to
So
the
how do
original
you-
question. The original question was how do you
Eat off of your
how do
passion,
you
pretty
eat off
much.
of your passion? Well, I have a lot to say about that.
NFT.
Get into no, for real. Tell me,
I have a
because
lot.
I can apply. I'm sure Freddie can learn as well, but me learn and whoever's listening, we there's more creatives out there, you know, and I believe the creatives that we see, not just music, are extremely talented. And for whatever reason, if you can spend a little bit more time or awareness or anything, I really believe this area can, again, the Renaissance. There's so much talent, and it's not just in one field, you know? I really believe if we spend that time, you get lost in that sauce, go get lost, go skateboard, go learn how to ollie, go have fun in that, in whatever passion you're learning, whether it's video editing or music or this or that. But I think a lot of people, that shit's not gonna fucking make me money.
Right.
I can't eat. You know what I mean? And so it's gonna take me 3 years. But as George said, no, we live in the world of instant connectivity, instant transmission. We can go all over the world. There's creative ways to make money. So for you, as a multi-talented artist, for you, you know, living kind of not off the grid, but just off a normal beaten path, how do you eat, you know? And I think that we can, not only I can learn, he can learn, but multiple people can learn.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's very hard. It's hard for
It's not easy.
It's hard to make money off of it's hard to make money off of a creative skill. I've been doing it I've been getting paid to do what I do for the last maybe 4 years, and I've been doing this full time. Really, we're on 3 years now. I'm in the third year of like doing this full time. I think the first thing is a very nuanced conversation when it comes to making money off of art, because we've already kind of talked on and touched on, there's some people who work a 9 to 5 and like do their art quote unquote on the side, which I don't even like using that term. There are some people who who work a 9 to 5 and then do art, and then there are some people who dive in, and I think there's like sometimes it's a literal debate, but most of the time in society it's like this kind of subconscious debate is like, oh well, who's the true artist? The one who's like staying up late to make their art, or the one who's dove all the way in to make their art. To me, in that part of the conversation, I think that both are incredibly difficult. And that just comes down to, you got to ask yourself who you are. When it came down to it, for me, I didn't want to be spending any other time outside of building my building my business, because I couldn't handle it otherwise. I couldn't handle working a 9 to 5 and and then working after hours, and I did. I like not a 9 to 5, but like I worked jobs and did my creative thing.
Right.
But I got to a point where it's like, no, this is not sustainable for me. Like I don't have the energy to work a 9 to 5 and then go and do my company. To me, and some people I feel like look at those guys, because you'll hear those stories. You'll hear about I forget his name, but Eddie Murphy, I think back in the day had talked about like, you got to put yourself into a position where it's like you basically got to make this thing work or you're not going to eat. Yeah. And we romanticize that, and people might romanticize what I'm doing because I'm air quotes full time as a creative, but that's just because that worked for me. I don't think I'm taking some high and mighty road. What I think is infinitely harder is what Kim does. Ooh, yes. I think that's so I think that requires so much more dedication.
So what do you mean? Dive deeper. What does Kim do?
So Kim works as a nurse, and this man has no date. Like I know for a fact that if I text Kim, he's either at the hospital or at the studio. Yeah. And that's what works.
Just said, why didn't you tell me? I would have pulled up. So. But he's probably at the studio. No, to be real, he's probably
at the studio.
Damn.
But yeah,
we should hit it up next and create a song.
No.
Next time we'll do a podcast with the three of us in the studio. Make a song from scratch.
Ooh, I can give you some ad libs or something. There you go. I'm down.
Keep going.
No. Yeah.
It's
I like that.
So it's just two different ways to go about it, and ultimately, me and Kim both are just demonstrating a level of self-awareness. He knows that what works best for his life is to go the way about it that he did it. Yeah. I know what works best for my life and my career to go about it the way that I'm going about it now. Is I needed to dive in. Like I needed to have as much of my time to dedicate to my creativity and business as I could. And that's just because it's what works for me. I would never say like, yeah, that's what I did, so that's what you should do.
Right.
No, it's not the same for everybody. It's like that I'm doing it because it works. It works the best for me. But also with that, and this goes for whether or not you do this full time or not, or however you go about it. I think another thing that's important, and this is something that like really frustrates me with what I see in a lot of creative industries, is the if you're trying to make money off of this and you're trying to make something that's sustainable, is setting boundaries, and that is probably the most important part to making money in this industry, in creative industries. Setting boundaries, because we as creatives get too caught up in, I need to make money off my creative. I need to make money off of my art. So we do that and we completely forego setting boundaries for ourselves, and we end up taking on projects that don't pay enough, and we end up taking on work that we don't need to do. Yeah. And again, these are nuanced. These are nuanced conversations, because there is a time when you find something that's like, that's not my rate. But I know if I get on this job, I'll meet that person. Like that's worth the connection. Networking. Right. So like there are times for that. Yeah. But if you don't have the boundaries in place first, you won't ever know. You're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants. For me, I mean, like I could have made, I could be making way more money doing what I do. But I turn down weddings. I don't shoot weddings.
You said flying by the seat of your pants?
Yeah.
You have some
like-
crazy sayings.
I do like. I was
I
just
didn't want
gonna
to
say
just go back, but that was just, I had to say something
flying
because
by the seat of your pants.
I still don't know what that means.
You're flying.
By the seat, it's like you're flying without a seat.
That is an interesting saying.
Yeah, but
right?
I'm saying you have to really like.
Now I'm
okay,
thinking about it.
flying by the
I see.
seat. Like you talking about like on an airplane, or you talking about just like Superman style?
So there's
I don't know.
there's
I
an
wasn't at
area.
the meeting when they.
See, that's what I'm saying. You just be saying shit and you don't even know what it means. But it sounds good. It's like
Right.
metaphors.
Well, it sounds good
question
until you
it.
bars.
right.
Bars. That's
That's
a Drake
the
line that you go
bars.
back years later.
Right.
You're like, what?
do you mean by that?
That's part of the human vocabulary, right?
Yeah, it's just
one of those sayings.
It's
that-
well, you use
yeah,
the.
I got it.
Think about this, and this,
Uh-uh.
don't not to get us complete.
Yes, get us
Okay,
completely
yeah,
off.
this is the best part of this
This is the
podcast.
best part of
Right.
the
Rabbit holes.
tangents. Yes,
You used the phrase "shits and giggles" earlier.
Yeah.
Who was the first
Giggles and
motherfucker to
poops,
say
yes.
"shits and giggles"?
It was probably a guy named Shits. SCHITZ.
Let's do it for
You know,
shits.
it's Shits and my boy Giggles.
yeah.
This is for Shits and Giggles.
Shits and giggles.
Shits and
Shits and Giggles.
the best FBI agents ever. You know what I mean? Whatever. Shits and giggles.
Hey, you know what they say.
Yo.
Sometimes when you don't know where a saying came from, you just make it up.
There
You
you
just
go.
make it up, yeah.
Yeah,
Shits
that's what
and
they say.
giggles were
That's
FBI
what they say. You know,
agents.
they say
I'll
that.
have
That's
to
what they
remember
say.
that.
I just made that up. Exactly. My point.
Something I wanted to say too is like a big thing that from hearing from your story is like you had a lot of influence in the beginning of your life, like at 8 years old. Not only were you in a place where you envisioned what you wanted to do via your father, via TV or behind the scenes stuff, but you also had a father that did music, and through him you were learning the business side of music. So in some kind of way you were going to a fucking class back in those days that now puts you in a position where you're at now,
Right.
compared to a lot of us that grew up to parents that just lived a 9 to 5, and that's all we know. That's all we're programmed.
Yeah.
You get an advanced fucking education on that, and now you're thriving in a way that a lot other people might not be able to. But that doesn't say also because of that, because you might have a brother or sister that's not doing the same thing as you either.
Facts.
Right. Yeah.
So it comes down to you as a person,
Yeah.
like what
It's
you're.
Josh's path.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
like my parents, my dad was a carpenter.
Yeah.
My mom was a teacher. I didn't have they listened to music, but none of them played music. None of my parents played music. None of them
Right.
picked up. My dad doesn't play an instrument. My mom doesn't play an instrument. My mom doesn't sing. My dad doesn't sing.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, for some reason, I felt like that was my calling. That's what something I want to do.
Really?
And like, but then I also see the influences that I can take. You know, they listen to this kind of music. That's the kind of music I want to make. Like with Josh, he's always been very, like, I'm telling you, since I met this dude, every time I talk to him, anything he says, any conversation you have, you can take a piece of that and be like, wow, it's like some wisdom in what he says, right? He's like wise beyond his years. So he
Wise behind his
he
ears.
is.
That's
He's
another one.
I mean,
Wise
this dude's
behind
younger
his
than me.
ears.
Not by much, but he's a couple
Years.
years.
Years. I'm
Yeah.
like,
No.
He's a couple years
His
younger
brain
than me,
is
but
wisdom.
he's a very he just it goes back to what I said earlier, is that he's just a genuine person and he's himself. So when he talks, it's not bullshit, because sometimes he don't even know what he's saying. He just says it. But
Sometimes I'm
it's
flying by the
true.
seat of my pants.
Sometimes he's flying by the seat of his pants. Or the
someone-
collar of his shirt, whatever. it is that day.
No, wait a minute.
This man-
Someone listening. Can someone? I know we have a lot of artists out there. Can we have a visual of someone flying by the seat of their pants?
What does that mean?
Can
Yeah.
Can we get a visual?
I'm
Someone.
gonna draw
What is-
that
yes,
shit when I
someone
get
draw
home.
this
But
and
no,
bring
for
it
real,
up.
this
Yeah,
man,
right?
he says stuff, but you learn when he talks, because you're like, okay,
Wisdom.
It gives you perspective. He always can give you. He can, if Josh can't bring you anything, he'll bring you perspective, and that's 100% real.
Yeah. And man, I mean, that's something that like I don't take for granted at all, because like the perspective that I have and that I am like, I don't. Sometimes I'm not sure how I got to the point that I got when it comes to perspective, but most people don't get to this point. I realize there's people twice my age that don't have the perspective I have, and it's like, man. I can't, like, this has got to be early that I figured this out. I'm like, this is, to me, I see that as like an incomprehensible privilege to be able to process things the way that I do, and kind of like to your point, other things that I don't take for granted. Some of the things are things that I didn't enjoy, but something that gives me a big perspective is I grew up homeschooled too. Like I didn't go to public school until my senior year
Really?
of high school.
Wait a minute.
Come on now.
And so like you said, so I'm homeschooled. I'm surrounded by I'm learning from my dad, who at the and like I got a mix of everything, because eventually like from 7 to like 9, my dad is like doing music for real. And then from 9 on, the rest of like high school, well, from 9 until like maybe 13, 14, he had to stop music. He had to go get a job, a job. Like he had to go drive a truck. So I saw it in like a kind of like a reverse order. So most people get like a job and like do the creative, and then move into the creative. But like I was learning as he was like kind of coming out of the creative and going into like driving a truck.
It's like passing the torch without passing the torch.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
And so like but I learned so much about business, and that was just ingrained. To me, like another reason that like and again, to your point, like this is kind of the normal thing for me. Like this is like, to me, it feels more natural for me to just be working on my own business than it does to go work a job. So I'm not doing anything special. I'm doing what I think is normal. You know what I mean? Like I don't see myself as like breaking away from like a path. It's like this is the path that I know. Like I am on that path.
This is the way.
Yeah, this is the way. Like this is what I know, there. And this is what I think is what I think is the best for me. But yeah, like I have a lot of perspective and a lot of things and a lot of experience that is that I don't take for granted. It's like, man, like there are so many things that I wouldn't be where I am today without those experiences, without those insights. And again, like to learn a lot of what I've learned at this stage in life is just so incredibly early. I feel like it's unfair sometimes. Like I'm like, I feel like I'm, by the time I get to like my middle age, I'm like, I'm going to be doing laps because I'm playing a game that nobody else is playing at this age, and I feel like that's something that like I can never take for granted, and something that I don't want to take for granted. Just the experience, and it's like it's a mix of things, because it's like some of the things just happen, but there is a lot of intentionality too to what I do. I surround myself with certain types of people, and I intentionally avoid other types of people. So it's things that may be things that just kind of happen, but it's also things that this life is kind of by design. Like I don't think that like I have control over a lot of things, but I do believe in like supreme influence. Like I think you can influence your situation.
Are we living in a simulation? Oh, is that what you're saying? Is that what you're inferring, sir?
No.
Can we manipulate like Neo? Can we manipulate? Maybe not break the rules, but can we bend the rules?
Bend the rules.
If you're saying you're years ahead, or because of your unique path.
That was honestly, that might have been the perfect timing.
That was he's getting better at it.
You are getting better, because
that timing was. He kind of scared me. I wasn't.
Again, are we in a simulation?
We're entering a world, not a world.
There's a few other artists that kind of flirt with those words and lines. Of getting lost in the sauce and being ahead, or seeing time differently, or you know, like
you in the Illuminati and you didn't tell me, bro. You didn't invite me to that party.
we don't got the barbecue invites.
Hey man, just
Fuck, we
don't
have
worry
that.
about Mass Attack
Yes.
success.
Ooh,
We're
yes.
already in.
You're gonna get a invite. What's that from Eyes Wide Shut? It's gonna be Oregalo. You got to travel to a mansion and say a word and wear a mask.
Whatever we gotta do. Feeding the family, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, in a practical sense, because I always like to get it back to like practicality for somebody that like, if there's somebody that hears something that I say, I like to present it in a way that it's, because I don't like to. There's a lot of like weird ways that I could go about how I process things and like what I think is going on in my life, but in a practical sense, I think if you just introduce more variables into your life, there's more chances for different outcomes. And then once you get to a point where you realize that, then you're like, oh, well, maybe I'll just add more positive variables so that even though like I'm not necessarily in control what the outcome is, I know that I can be pretty confident that it's positive because
Higher chance of it being
right, like because I'm putting more positive variables or more variables that are likely to work out in my favor.
Something important that I thought you said right now is something about the community. So like to me, like the community, you put yourself around the people that you want to be around with. That's what we're saying, that you stay away from certain people and you stay closer to certain people. So in a way, a term is called the community raises you. So if you've been able to choose your own community to raise you. At certain points in your life, like in the beginning it was your dad and everything, and now you're surrounding yourself with people that are artists, people that are creating, people that are skateboarding. You're just surrounding your community is just, you're creating it. And a lot of times people fall into that. For example, I like to call a lot of people that like love sports. That like love sports, and they surround themselves with nothing but sports people, and that sports becomes their life. That's their community. That's who raised them, and they become those people. But we could also have, like you said, choose your community. Not only do you have your sports community, you have your talented artist community. So you are based out of the people you keep around yourself with. So not saying that being a sports guy specifically is being a bad person or you're doing things wrong. No, it's just like you got to learn how to keep the right people around your time and balance yourself in a great way with the community that raises you. Yeah.
And you have to go into all those things with zero expectations, because that's the other thing that I think as a creative has helped me get to where I am. There's a lot of things I do without expectations. I go into rooms and I am around people that I know that are like talented or have resources or whatever. I just go to just be around those people. You don't go into those situations like expecting to get anything out of it.
Right.
You just being around, certain things changes, can change outcomes. But if you go into like a situation expecting to get something out of it, then it's like you're there for the wrong reasons.
It depends on what you. If you're trying to get perspective, it's cool. If you're trying to get like some knowledge and wisdom, it's cool. But if you're trying to get some kind of gain to get yourself a step ahead, then you're going into the wrong way. And it's like, bro, your intentions are all backwards.
Right.
Because those kind of people don't ever make it, and when they do, it's all fake. It's not genuine. You can't build positive connections if you're there for those fake reasons. And I mean, I think that's another thing we've talked about, me, him, and Kem, is that we are all genuine people, the three of us, and we've been through so much shit. We've been through a lot of struggle. We've been through a lot of hard times, and it didn't break us. It only made us stronger. And I think we know, like, bro, I'm not trying to be funny, but we're not assholes. We're not, we're not typical musicians who are like, you meet some musicians who are assholes and they think they're better than everybody. We don't go into rooms like that. We go into rooms and we're just like happy to be there. Like we're genuinely just happy to be around other creatives, and like you'll see that around us. Like I'm not trying to be like cocky, but that's how we are. We've always carried ourselves like that, and we've already determined that we're not going to change that about us for no reason. We don't need to go into a room and try to one up somebody or try to be like, oh, we're this and we can do this for you. And no, we're not trying to take nobody's shine. We're not trying. If anything, we're there to be like supportive and being like, hell yeah, you know. We just want to help other people, and I think that's why the things that we do and the music we've been making and the opportunities that we are presented with and the opportunities that we can present to others are all genuine, because we genuinely care about the art. We care about the music, and we care about ourselves. We just want. We literally. I'm not trying to be funny again. We just want to prove to ourselves that what we're doing is the right thing, and we're trying our best to motivate each other, because we're all passionate about the music, and we're passionate about our arts and we've taken risks. This man doesn't have a 9-to-5. Kem's working his ass off at the hospital and then going to the studio. Yeah. You know, I'm teaching and putting myself out there as a musician, and you know, I'm putting my face out there as the guy who's making music at my age, and like all these things that factor into that. And we have to go in with that, you know, bend don't break mentality, but at the same time, we're genuinely there for other people when they need us. We'll drop whatever we, you know, for our friends, for our close circle. They know if they need something, they can call us and depend on us. We might not have the money, but we will give you the love, and that's something that's infinite. Our love is infinite because we care about what we do. So we know, we've had those talks where we're like, we can't fail. Even if we fail, we can't fail, because we're leading with our hearts, we're leading with love, and we're living our lives with love, and we're genuinely doing it for the right reasons. At least that's what we think, because we're not doing it to financially gain. We're not doing it to be superstars and celebrities. We care about the art. We care about what we're doing. And we're putting our actual hearts and souls into our freaking work. Yeah. And we just want to help other people. At the end of the day, we want other people to be like, yo, if they can do it, we can do it, and vice versa. Like, we want to help other people. And I think if, like I said, we can't fail. Even if we don't be millionaires by the end of this, we'll know that we won't look back on our life and regret it. And that's more important than not doing it. Is us looking back saying, hey, we tried. Yeah. We left it all on the table. We did everything we could. We tried. There's not a single opportunity wasted. There's not a moment where we regretted. We did it. We did it, and we did it with love, and we did it, you know. And that's why I love these guys. I love Kim and Josh, because they lead their lives the same way.
I like what you said, lead with love. I think when you do that, whatever field you're in, that's how you really resonate with people. Whether it's a vocal, like here, a podcast, if you lead with love and you're genuine, or you're an artist, or you're a skateboarder, or you're in the film industry, whatever, whenever you lead with heart, with passion, I think that creates something that puts off a vibe, you know? Like you said, it might not make money because it might not be the top or hot or whatever. It's not the TikTok trending or whatever. But if you make something from a genuine like place, that's just real, man. That separates, to me at least, from the rest. Like, oh, someone took time and to genuinely put energy, the Force, midichlorians into creating something. Like, oh. Let me see what this is, you know? And when people, like you said, when one individual finds that passion and love and drive, it's cool. But when you have multiples like you guys and 93 Studios and so many other people, like, whoa,
bro. You and Freddie too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when you have multiple creatives in the room, like you guys, I still want the whole Mass Attack ensemble. It's an experience. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's an experience, and it's the Wu-Tang. You have the RZA, the Jizza, Inspector Deck. You have everybody, Method Man. You have individuals that are individually talented, but for that one time or one whatever, they're creating together. Yeah, which beautiful. Is whoa! It's a multiplier effect. It's a double XP weekend. You know, like you're amping everything up. Like, oh, everyone. It's a multiplier effect, not just. And for me, what I'm learning. Like, it's not just for that field. When you open up that creativity in your brain, you can transfer that into journaling. You can transfer that into skateboard. You can transfer. Yeah. It's a plug and play universal. Like, what you learn with music and this, if you transfer it into this, into painting, into that. If Buzz were to take everything that he learned from barbecuing and grilling and turn that into painting,
Yeah,
I believe he'd be an
like
amazing.
Picasso.
Right.
Yes, he'd be
Because it's the love that he's leading with, bro. And
Yes.
look, I'm gonna say this thing too before I get on a rant. I'm gonna stop after this. This is Josh's
No, you're
episode,
good.
but
You're good. No, this is.
I want this to be like a known thing about Mass Attack. Like before, it was me and John, and then it turned into me and the whole band. And it's still me and John at the core of everything, and that'll be forever. It's me and BZ forever, And we've let other people in, and I've let Josh and Kem in. I've let other people in. But it comes down to the name Mass Attack, right? The brand Mass Attack. When people hear Mass Attack, ultimately they're going to think of me and John, the people that knew us from the beginning. But eventually there's going to be new people who come along who just know me and Josh and me and Kem. But I want those two guys to be the faces as well as me. And I've had conversations with both of them, and I don't think they understand that I don't want it to be, you're Mass Attack and this is your band. Yeah. I want to transition from you guys are Mass Attack. Yeah. I because they put just as much love and time into it that I do, that it's not them just playing my songs for me. Yeah. It's us playing. Yeah. It's us, bro. And you can get further by us than me. We takes you a longer way than me. And all you gotta do is flip that fucking M to a W, bro. Hey, for real. Because you go from me to we, and who's stopping us? Yeah. Who's stopping us? Yeah. Nobody. So nobody is. And I don't care what anyone says, bro. I'll die by this shit. Yeah. We are stronger together than I've ever been. You know what I'm saying? I got John with me in my heart. And I got Josh and I got Kem. Ain't nobody stopping us, bro. Yeah. This train ain't stopping. Yeah. And I'm going to just say this again. Josh, I love you, bro. We've gotten a lot closer this past couple of years, a lot closer. We've had conversations that are just between him and I. If I ever get married, this man's going to be my best man. I love Kem. Hey, Kem, you could
Damn,
you
Kem.
Kick rock. Wait.
Kick
No,
rock.
Wow, Cam.
Cam.
You already here first,
Cam.
Cam. Step it up, Cam. Step it up, bro. Don't worry, Cam. That's just the liquor now.
Don't do it.
No, that was
I'm
not
not
instigating. Cam, we're
Now he's
instigating.
really
That's
being
my
too nice.
man. No.
I'm sorry, that was
Don't
us.
kick
That
rocks.
was us. No.
Cam's going to
Now
carry
he's being
rocks.
too
Cam's
nice.
going to
He's
carry
gonna have two best men.
No,
You can do it.
No kick rocks. Cam's
Okay.
carrying rocks. He's gonna be my ring bearer. You know what I'm saying?
Beautiful. There you
Still
go.
part of the ceremony.
Good save.
This
Good
is
save.
if I get married. But no.
Double good save.
For real.
Double good save.
For real. And it's no offense to nobody out there listening. I got Shane. I got Julian, my homies. I talked about Julian on the last podcast. I got my boy Shane. And I've had this conversation in my head where it's like, man, who's the best man? The best man is John, but he's physically not here, right? Yeah. And it's not like, who's second best up? No. Yeah. It comes down to me. It's my decision. You know what I'm saying? And I've thought about it, and it's more about Josh's, just him being himself, right? Not saying my other friends are not worthy, but Josh is just a different kind of person. He is a genuine from the ground up. This man does everything on his own with his own. He has his own struggles, and he doesn't let people into that shit. But he still leads his life with love, and that's a big thing for me. That's a big thing for me, and it's a big thing for Mass Attack. And I've talked to Kem about this too. Going forward, Mass Attack is me, Josh, and Kem, and anyone else that's plugged in. They're part of Mass Attack, and I love them. And there's multiple people that are going to be plugged in. But the core is me, Josh, and Kem. Physically, obviously it's me and John forever, but physically it's me, Josh, and Kem, and that's how it's gonna be going forward, and that's on record. You know what I'm saying? And I told you guys last time I worked with this guy named Ellen Teller, and he was supposed to be here today, but I'm gonna just let Josh take over right now, and I'm gonna stop talking. But this is the perfect segue. Just saying, cough. This is it. Breaking news. Here it is.
No, so that he's lying about. He just wants me to break this news to you guys.
Yes,
this will
exclusive.
This will be the first.
It keeps getting better and
better.
This
better
is
and better.
That's why. So that's why you've been. He's not being nice to me. He just wants me to
I genuinely mean that. I've had this conversation with my friend about
the plot thickens.
He So he mentioned that he was working on some. You guys were talking about the new music
On the podcast that I did with them.
on the podcast that
I
you
did a song with this artist, Alan Teller.
Yeah, and so I'm working on some music, but people know that I'm working on music, and you guys know about this whole business, but what nobody knows is that Alan Teller and Josh Allen are the same person.
Whoa!
You heard it here, folks.
I wish I would have I wish I would have took a picture of your faces. Y'all both leaned in, and then we're like, "Oh shit!"
Whoa!
Yeah. So the long and short of it is, I wanted. I wanted like a separation between like what I'm doing professionally.
Hannah Montana. Nah.
I'm trying to get the best of both.
Yo! You could have said anything. You could have. I got the reference.
No, Slim Shady Eminem.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you could have.
There's other people, but
No, I'm trying to get the best of both worlds.
Hannah Montana works.
Hannah Montana.
Hey, but now when that episode that I did with you guys comes out, people can.
Yeah.
I talked a lot about Alan Teller. I talked a lot
Yes.
about Josh.
Yeah.
But now y'all know exclusive
Broken
bombshell.
exclusive.
right now, I'm like
Right
all
here.
mind blown. I'm like,
Yo.
Exclusively.
How
right
did
here.
this? You kind of built up to it? You wanted to kind of be your own.
Yeah, so I just what it kind of ended up inadvertently happening with like my media career. Josh Allen Media is like it ended, which wasn't the intention from the start. That just ended up becoming like a personal brand, and it's kind of so there's some branding that I'm doing with it now, and I just don't want to conflate that with like my music. I want people to like listen to my music for my music and not because they know me from like somewhere else or something like that.
I'm interested now. Yeah.
So that's all it is. It's not that big a deal, but it
That
was
is
funny
a big
because like
deal,
he,
man.
deal, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely, it's a big deal.
he
man.
was saying he's like I didn't tell him who Alan Teller was, but when you go on the podcast, he's like, you got to tell him that like
Yeah.
he's like, you gotta have a surprise guest. So yeah, like the first song that like I'm recording, George has a verse on it, and it should be out in May. That's when we're
Nice.
Nice.
work.
Bing, 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 bing.
I mean, I knew I was on it. I just didn't know it was coming out of me.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're shooting for.
Well, you weren't on it. Josh Teller was on it.
Well, I was, yeah, exactly. Alan Teller's first single comes out in May, and honestly, I'm excited about it. I haven't been this excited about something that I've a piece of art that I've created in a long time.
So since you have like a alter ego, super, yeah, you know what I mean? Like you have a alter ego, like a Clark Kent. Do you have freedom to kind of do things that you normally wouldn't do? Or how does that feel? How do you?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what.
Because you're kind of free, right? You're just like, I'm just creating just to create. And
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
really care
And
about what
that's-
you say. I'm not.
right.
It's not about the money. So to
Right.
me, like, yo, I kind of want to listen to that because it's gonna be whatever it is.
Right.
It's gonna be from the heart.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's all I'm really about is like trying to add more creativity into my life and getting to circle back to music is just like super special to me. And I want it to still. I think that's something that it's still like separate from like what I do as a job, and I'm really not to be honest. I'm not trying to make music a job because I did that with filmmaking, and I'm like, if you haven't heard this from anywhere else, you don't have to turn any, let alone all, of your passions into a business. That's something that we're like really into.
I think you
like,
lose the fun out of it, right? You
yeah,
lose the
well,
joy.
you can if it's not if you're not careful. As like when it comes to like my life, this includes me creatively and what I do for work with my company. I love what I do because I do what I want. But it like
That's a flex right there.
It's a low key hard flex, right?
I love what I do
Do
because
what I want, bro. I don't know about y'all, but I do what the fuck I want.
Fuck
I wake up, I eat peanut butter and jelly for breakfast. Y'all are still sleeping.
You 9-to-5ers don't know what I'm talking about.
I go to bed at 4 a.m.
Free.
America,
Fuck yeah, America, fuck yeah.
no, but like that's just I mean I live by that. I do what I want, and it took a long time to figure that out.
There you go.
Still figuring it out.
There you go.
And so I want to be able to be creative however I want to be, but again, like that's what I was saying. I really don't want to. My aim with like my video production. I need to make money off of that. That's the goal. That's what I do. That's what I get paid to do. I intend to get paid more for it. Yeah. That's what I intend to do.
Especially when you put a lot of money into your equipment. I'm pretty
sure. Yeah. Like
I'm.
That's what that is supposed to be. With music though, and this is what like when I came back around to music after being in filmmaking for a while now, or video production for a while now, I realized I'm like, oh, that's what I kind of messed up the first time. I don't want to do this with music. Like, I know full-time musicians. I don't want that shit. Like, I don't want to be like a full-time like musician in the way that like guys are like that the people that I know are full-time musicians do it. That's not to say that like I don't want success for music. Whatever happens. If people like it, they like it. If opportunities come for that, I will assess those opportunities as they come. But it's different than like I wake up, I pick up my camera, I'm going to make some money.
Yeah.
Like it's not the same with music. I go to make music. I'm going to make music.
Yeah.
I'm going to make music, and I'm going to enjoy it.
I'm going to make love.
That's what I'm doing with
get your Hendrix on, man.
Right. That's what I'm doing. So there's a bit of a separation, and so that's kind of why that like I'm going by a different name, because Josh Allen it's become my personal brand. It's like, and again, I'm not shy about saying that's what I do to make money. That's like that is my business, and that is the intent behind that. Yeah. But with music, I want the intent to be music. I don't want money to come and like cloud that in any premature in a premature way. So just having it, being able to focus on the creativity is like another big reason for that, and just having those. That goes back again to setting boundaries, like just having boundaries for myself. I conduct my creative self differently than I conduct my business self. And then like, with the filmmaking, there's a balance of both that you have to do, or that I have to do when I'm working on my business. But again, it's all very nuanced, and like one thing I've learned is I get to look at a bunch of different people's lives and take different things. But I stopped a while ago trying to find the person that's like, oh, I can do that one-to-one, because that just doesn't happen. There's nobody that I can just like, oh, whatever they did, I'll do exactly what they did, and I'll have exactly what they have. It's impossible. Everybody's too different. They might be similar to you in a lot of ways, but eventually there's a difference that affects an area that you may not see it. So all of it is nuance, and the way that I go about things is how I go about things. If I say something that works for you, take it and run with it. If it doesn't work for you, leave it. Just leave it. Don't touch it. That's not for you, man. It's for somebody else.
Beautiful. I got maybe 2 questions. You got any questions?
Go ahead.
All right. Motivational speaking.
Motivational speaking.
How'd you get into that?
That's a question?
Yeah.
Motivational speaking. I'm not a motivational speaker.
Someone
like
brought
in
it
the
up.
Cars, in the car rides, he's a motivational.
In the car rides,
speaker.
I motivate my friends.
He don't go and do TED talks.
No,
I
no,
thought
not yet.
No, he
I
will
took
though.
a note when you said that.
Promise you, he will. One day he will.
You are very articulate.
Oh,
Every time I talk to you, it's a wealth of knowledge and information.
thank you.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
So you can be a motivational speaker. I wrote it down because I really thought, you
Look,
might want to.
One day,
Yeah, you
he's
might
gonna
want.
fly his pants off.
Whatever
he said.
Not even. It might not be
Fly his pants
off the seat cuff of his
There you
collarbone. Yeah, no, but when you speak, you drop knowledge. You know what I mean?
Oh, thank you. I
And then I
appreciate
think a lot of people just can learn that maybe not even from your words, but by your actions. You know what I mean?
appreciate that.
Like
Well-
you've had a certain unique lifestyle from a very young age. You've kind of learned differently than most. You know, and to me, you're a product of something that when you have a certain environment, when a certain amount of the environment is good. It's a positive environment. It's a creative environment. It's a learning, and you can apply that creativity to something that. Perfect example. You are around music, but you found a calling or a love or something in video, and you apply the same kind of skeleton keys into what you learn from music business, this, that, the grind into video, and it released something. It did something. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
You can teach a lot of people just by. I learned a lot today. You know what I mean? George being here shed us a lot of information on you, and it's pretty cool that the creatives. To me, the majority of them are student teachers. You're learning,
definitely.
but there's so much knowledge that you learned that just having a normal conversation that just we have, and now that we're recording it, that many people can learn and benefit. You know what I mean? Many, many, many. So just having a normal
I hope
conversation.
just one. To be honest, I hope just one that would make my day if I heard like one person heard something that I said and impacted them in any sort of way. I
hope like two for me. So I just want to one up.
I'm one of them too.
I'm the singer. I'm the singer.
He plays guitar for me. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
But hey, another
love these
thing that
guys.
I'm not shy about. I love people.
Except old people. You said that.
Except all
Don't forget. You thought I forgot?
Once you're over 35, that's it.
you motherfucker.
I love people. I love people. I have a passion for stories and how they are told, and I love talking. That's why I wanted to do the podcast. I love talking. So I have had a couple opportunities in my life to speak. It wasn't like a motivational speak or anything like that, but I've spoken, done public speaking, and I'd love to get into that. I don't know how you get into that. I don't know what you do for, but just because I love talking. But yeah, no, I love talking, and if anybody asks me, I'm at a point in my life I'm like, I wouldn't turn it down. Like I wouldn't know what I'm gonna say. I don't feel like I have like the most to offer, and but I'm even coming around to that. I got asked to speak to some students by a constituent of mine, friend of mine down in North Carolina. Yeah, he asked me to possibly speak to some of the, and I was like, a couple of years ago, I'd have been like, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what I would say. I don't know what I would say.
That's
but I'm
pretty cool,
trying
man.
I'm trying to get more experience, and that's why I'm doing more stuff like this, like podcasts, because I do love to talk, but I want to learn. That honestly, that's a craft.
skill. Yeah, it's
you
a
know, that's a
skill.
craft that I want to learn. It's like, well, how can I say something to where, it's more than one person that I can impact? But if I like to talk. That's the point of that.
I have one last question, unless you have something. You?
Yeah, so like you seem to be very positive, and the people around you always portray you as being positive energy, positive everything. So besides the what you do professionally or music, what else outside of that do you do to keep that positive balance in your life or energy that you give out?
Oh man, that's a whole.
That's a whole other podcast.
It could be. I'll give a little bit. I'm just, first of all, I'm just intentional. My favorite word is different. If something's not working, I do something different. And I try to be very intentional about that. To keep up positive energy and just be positive, I put a lot of have a high priority on my mental health. I struggle with a lot of different things. I struggle with anxiety, depression, and I struggle with those things. Like we all struggle with those things at some point in our life.
Right.
Everybody's gonna struggle with anxiety or depression or feel anxious or depressed. I put a very high priority on my mental health. I have a therapist. I see a therapist. I think that's super important. That was something I just started doing last year, but I think that's super important. Anybody who can see a therapist, I would highly recommend that. But I've been very intentional about it since my early 20s. I remember the first thing, maybe not the first thing, but one of the early things I did to like start kind of like coming around to like having a better, just being a little bit more positive and being more mentally healthy. I remember just getting on YouTube, and I just started being mindful of what I subscribe to, and subscribe to a lot of listeners. And I tried to create it to where like YouTube would feed me more and more positive things. I practice minimalism. I practice minimalism. I am very intentional about the things that I own. I have a simplified wardrobe. During the week, I wear one of 5 like gray and black sweaters through the week. I don't like concern myself with like, first of all, I like, to have a cool outfit on. Like, and I like, if you see me at a show, I'm not wearing this. Like, I'd like to have a cool outfit on and wear clothes that make me feel good. But during the week when I'm working on my business and all my decision-making power is needed for that, I don't concern myself with what I'm wearing. It's already set out. Like, I already know what, I'm wearing ahead of time. So that, like, things like that keep like my energy aligned. I do yoga. That's the closest I get to meditating. I need to really get into meditation.
You're gonna be a Buddha after that.
I need to get into meditation. I really don't meditate. I'm trying to journal. Those are like the harder ones for me to do. I don't do those like consistently. Yoga is really good though for me. But at the end of the day, a lot of it, when it comes to the positive energy, I feel like I naturally have that energy, but I'm trying to find ways to just have more of it and have some of it to spare. So I'm very intentional about the systems that I put in place to introduce more variables that lead me to have more positive energy. A quote that like has been with me for like a while now is you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And that's James Clear. He wrote a book. I forget the name of his book. Atomic Habits. I've never read the book, but I read that quote.
It's on the first page.
I have that queued up somewhere.
Yeah. That's probably going to be the next one that I read. But yeah, like and I've watched like videos talking about these ideas that you break, that you set systems for kind of essentially your lowest self. Because what we do when we hit rock bottom is like we start thinking, we're like, all right, I'm gonna like turn everything around and I'm gonna work out 5 days a week and I'm gonna stop eating this and I'm gonna stop spending money on that and I'm gonna do this and this, and it's like, and you create this system for like you like as a high functioning individual, and it's like, well, but you're creating a system that's only, or worse, you create systems when you're that high functioning individual, when you're like, oh man, I've been working out like every day, like this is the new system. And it's like, if you only create those systems for your high functioning self, what happens when you are your low functioning self. None of your systems work. None of your systems, like, you can't use any of them because you created systems for your high functioning self. So you have to think about, like, these systems that you create for yourself have to be attainable by you at 2, not you at 10. So that's like that's
a good breakdown. Yeah,
that's how I keep up a lot of the positive energy. The other thing is just like you keep different people around. If I'm not feeling like I'm going to get the right energy from somebody, I've been a lot better about not hanging out with them, or like, I'm not really somebody who cuts people out of my life, but I might start doing a certain thing with a certain somebody, if I think that like, that's just been like, that hasn't been like the energy that I want. But all of that, systems, intentionality, and self-awareness, really. Just you gotta be you, like, and that is the only answer that really matters. But it's the hardest thing because you can't go teach somebody that. You can't go teach somebody that. They have to find that out for themselves, because your cheat codes, your answers, your answer sheet to the test is totally different from mine. And maybe there's a couple that cross over, and maybe that might help you. But ultimately, you're on your own journey, and you've got to figure that out for yourself. And you just use everything else around you to kind of fuel that. So yeah, that's a rant for you, I guess.
Yeah, man. No,
That was you kind of answered my last questions. I wanted to know. Well, yeah, you kind of gave me. I wanted to know, what else do you do for like outlets? Other besides do you yodel, do you bird watch? You know what I mean?
Do I
Yeah, I don't know. What else do you? Whatever. Well, you kind of got into a few of them. Yoga.
Yeah, a few.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And-
yoga. I'm sorry. Continue. Did you have something else in there?
No, just along those lines of like, what do you use personally for like an outlet? It might be an artistic expression, use something, you know what I mean? But you mentioned journaling, and also kind of like when those times are down, when the going gets rough, You kind of answered it. You kind of utilized it.
Well,
So very wise for your age, you know what I mean? You're kind of utilizing it.
Yeah,
You're utilizing your outlets, which is pretty cool to see,
Yeah. Like I said,
especially the therapist part, you know what I mean? Especially
It's super important
for people in our age and our demographic in our area, you know what I mean? Usually talking to someone, I can even give you just talking to a friend can be difficult.
Yeah.
So for someone to actually talk to a professional that just, again, for giggles and shits, for, you know what I mean? Just no, this is a tool. This is like a yoga. This is like a journaling.
Yeah.
This is something that helps me physically and mentally. You know what I mean?
Mental
to
health.
have that aspect. To have that mindset.
You really have to have that mindset of like improving your mental health, and yeah, in terms of like what I like, it's something I know I do a lot, and which we've talked a lot about, is like I still skate. So like especially when like I'm
Physical health
not
there.
yeah. So I'm getting the physical health, and to me, skating has always been like a spiritual experience as well. So I do that in terms of like creative expression. I think we've kind of covered everything. I do a lot outside of like creative expression.
I do what I want.
He said it. Drop the mic after that. We should have plugged everything. I do what I want.
Outside of my creative expression, like my family's super important. I'm really close to all of my siblings, so I spend as much time.
Oh, your Mandalorian family?
Yeah.
Yes. This is the way. This is the way. Yes.
But yeah, the last thing I do want to say again, because therapy is so important. I think if you can see a therapist, and also like it took me a while to see one just because I thought it was like such a big undertaking. But I'm pretty sure all therapists will give you a free 15-minute consultation, and take more than one, like with different therapists, like see different therapists, figure out which one you vibe with. Yeah. And me personally, like my therapist is not like covered by my insurance, but so the first therapist I saw was like way too expensive, but he referred me to like somebody who was a little bit more affordable. Sometimes sometimes I can see him once a week. Yeah. Sometimes I can see him once a month. But like it's better than not seeing him at all. Yeah. And that was something that that once I started doing it, I realized I'm like, man, I wish I would have just started this sooner and just like started seeing somebody when I could. And yeah, like it's a cool experience because they just talk to you about your life, like something I wasn't expecting. Like with my therapist is like we'll talk about my business, and we'll talk about like how I'm doing and like the goals I have in business, and I'm like
a friend,
yeah, essentially,
pretty much, right?
And it's cool. Like he'll talk to me about like what I'm doing in business and encourage me in like what I'm doing right in like business and stuff like that. And that's not something that I thought a therapist would do. So I do it. If you're listening to this and you've been thinking about it, take a 15-minute consult, because I won't even say don't even think about booking your first therapy session. Just think about booking a 15-minute consultation. Google therapists in your area and find wherever, therapist you're looking at. Take the consultation. Keep going until you find one that's either covered by your insurance or is in your budget, and just focus on that.
And I believe there's options now where, yes, you can actually phone in and call, but also you can text. You can text. If you don't want to call, you don't want to actually talk to somebody, all right, like a friend, like a mentor, like someone there, you can actually text somebody.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild.
That's ChatGPT, but it still works.
Is it really a therapist?
So imagine you're just getting text back from ChatGPT thinking it's your therapist.
One day.
What was that movie where it was that dude that created the girl, and he had the girl, it was a robot girl, and he created Deus Ex. It was Deus Ex Machina or something.
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina. There you go. So this super smart guy, he creates this robot, beautiful robot. I forgot the actress that played her.
Scarlett?
No, it wasn't Scarlett.
No,
yeah, I know.
I know which movie.
So the robot, okay, sorry. The robot was trained to learn human emotions, and one of the prime directives was, I want you, the robot, to have an uncanny, unquestionable human intelligence. So this robot, spoiler alert, tricked this man from months into fall in love. And then at the very end, she's like, ha, I win. I don't love you. I'm free. I'm intelligent. Bye. And she leaves. Yeah, I'm sorry for ruining the movie.
I mean, that's most situations with man and woman, right? So they outsmart us, and we're just...
So the AI learned how to mimic human emotions, played on this emotion, learned, and at the very end, it's like, ha, it worked. And then, poof, hit the jet. Peace out. There's something with the human emotion, right? Sorry I went on that rabbit hole for that one.
No,
okay.
That's
so,
facts.
This was a very interesting podcast. Fred, if you have anything, there you go.
Oh, he Googled
it. Yes. Yeah. What was the actress's name? She was very beautiful in there. I forgot.
Helen Teller.
Something. If you have nothing else, George. If you have nothing else.
Let me just give. Who is it?
Oh, that's my brother.
That's his brother. Come on in. Walk on in, bro.
You can come in.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to say shout out to you guys, Jedi and Voyager.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys.
The Jedi and the Voyager.
Shout out to South by Southeast podcast. Shout out to Detour North. We got to take it all the way back. Shout out to Detour North. Shout out to everybody involved in Detour North. Shout out to Broke Boy Media.
Oh, no.
Which I know he forgot to touch on. But it's okay. I had to throw it in there just so he can say, oh, I forgot. But we at least threw it in there. Broke Boy Media is Josh and Emmanuel, who I mentioned earlier from Detour North, the lead singer. They have a media company that's established. They take a break because, like I said, everybody has lives and we all got a billion different things we're trying to work on. But Broke Boy Media, they shot a music video for me for Christmas. They have a bunch of stuff on YouTube. They have a bunch of videos that they've done together. It's essentially a media company between these two geniuses. But shout out to Broke Boy Media. Hey, to me, you guys are geniuses. So shout out to Broke Boy Media. Shout out to everybody listening, and shout out to Josh. Shout out to Alan Teller, and shout out to Master Tech.
Oh yeah, the singer,
Yeah.
the singer,
The singer.
The singer and the guitar players, but mostly the singer. The guy in the front,
He's everything.
he's single too. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. I might not have the hair or the glasses, but I'm just kidding. I'm not looking.
Next time we
I'm
see
not
him, he's
looking,
gonna have a wig.
But,
He's gonna have
but
a
it'd be nice to
psychedelic
get noticed,
band.
okay? It's nice to get noticed.
You're making it sound like this happens like after every show, and I'm
Right.
like,
It will eventually.
Yo, we're manifesting it
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Love you guys. Love all you guys at the table.
Thank you. Take it away. Any last words, sir? It can be anything.
last words. Yeah, no, we've covered a lot on this podcast. I just say thank you guys for having me. I was really looking forward to this. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I love humans. Humans, I think, are one of my favorite things. I assume that if you're listening to this, you are also a human. So I love to connect with humans. Hopefully, you might be ChatGPT, but if you are a human, you can connect with me at Josh Allen Media, at Josh Allen Media, everywhere, any platform. I'd love to connect with as many beautiful humans as possible. Yeah, and all humans are beautiful. I hope you're having a wonderful day, wonderful night, whenever you're listening to this. Yeah, hope you're smiling.
And I hope you enjoyed it by the seat of your pants.
Flying by the seat of your pants. And look out for a new single by Alan Teller.
Called by the seat of your pants.